there's a moment in the song as well where he is basically talking to his dad. And I think that's the switch we did. Instead of his mom coming out, he's talking to his dad like, why is she doing this to me? Why I could really use you right now. And it sets us up perfectly for when he meets Miyagi. There's a parental character for him right there.
Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
And just like that, I get lost trying to figure out just where to go. We aren't kids anymore.
Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I am joined by the composer of the Karate Kid musical, Drew Gasparini. How are you doing today, Drew?
Doing very well. Thank you, Drew. It's so cool that your name is Drew, by the way. It's hardly ever that I meet another Drew.
Yeah, I know. Is your real name Andrew or is it Drew?
It is. It's Andrew. It's Andrew. But I discovered early on. I told my parents when I was like 5. I was like, no, I'm Drew going forward.
Me too.
Really?
Too. I think I was like 5. Yeah.
You just know. All Drews know. It's like in our blood. We just have this feeling. I'm gonna be a Drew.
Yeah, it's a lot more simple, a lot more easy to write down, you know.
So. That's exactly. Who needs that extra syllable? Let's just cut to the chase. It's Drew. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't. It's this and Drew. No, just Drew. Just Drew.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'm super excited for this. I know you just got back from rehearsal, so
that's right.
Crazy to be talking to you. And I'm also excited to say that throughout this interview, we're going to be raising money for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. Drew, do you want to talk about this foundation? What they do?
Sure. You know, it's over the years, they've raised millions and millions of dollars towards AIDS research and developing cures and things of that nature. And it's a really wonderful research foundation. And Broadway has been doing it biannually, twice a year, I believe. They do big fat fundraisers through the shows. I mean, it really comes down to like cast members walking up and down the aisle with a red bucket and people donate, and it's like millions of dollars. And like one year, Hugh Jackman like auctioned off one of his shirts after a show and it went for like $100,000. It was like nuts. But it's all for a good cause. Anything to help others is always a good cause, and anything in the name of theater and supported by artists of theater, I'm going to be on board for. So that's what this foundation is.
That's awesome. So if you guys want to help support, there's a big blue donate button in the bottom of this video, or you can check out the link in the description, help support. So thank you all. So before we get into it, I know it was your birthday just recently.
That's right.
So I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and
thank you.
Someone else wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Pat Morita. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi. That's fantastic.
He wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
That's
he knew
so
I was
kind of
interviewing you. So how was your birthday? How was it?
I was working, so it was great. I felt very loved by the cast. I got a really nice bottle of sake from our director, who is a Japanese visionary. His name's Amon Miyamoto, and he is just tackling this project with such grace and ferociousness and passion. It is so amazing to watch. And there's a bit of a language barrier when I talk to him, but all you need is a bottle of alcohol, and I know exactly what he's saying. So that was a lovely thing. And the cast went out of their way to make me feel loved. And we're out here in St. Louis, and I'm from New York, so I don't know what there is to do. So the cast took me bowling. It was really sweet.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, it's a good way to spend your birthday.
I felt like it was actually really appropriate. It reminded me, what's the place? Golf and stuff? Is that what it is? It kind of was that vibe. It's like a bunch of everything here. It's like laser tag and bowling and arcade games. It was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you are literally like right now, like in the midst of rehearsals, craziness. So what has that been like?
Watching it come together is gorgeous. And I really mean this. It's hard to talk about this show without any bias because I'm writing it. You know, I want people to like it because I'm working my ass off. Oh my God, am I allowed to swear? Can I say
Oh
ass?
yeah, you're
I'm so
good.
sorry.
You're good.
Okay,
You're
okay.
good. You watch Cobra Kai? They say all
You're
of it.
you're right. You're right. You're from Jersey. You get it. Salty language. I'm sorry. It just comes out without me realizing.
All good.
But it's really, it's one thing to watch my songs come to life with this amazing cast, but like putting all the elements together, the set design, the costumes, we're being so true to the movie and the property that everybody loves and the story that Robert wrote, but it's also this amazing theatrical adaptation. So I really think it's perfect for the Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans, and also the theater fans of the world. And a lot of theater fans are like, Karate Kid, the musical, fuck that. And I'm telling y'all, come to the show. You're going to be knocked on your ass. And all of you Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans who are saying that shouldn't be a musical, come to the damn show. I'm telling you, it's gonna defy a lot of expectations out there. And I'm sorry, I'm blathering on here, but
No.
the experience is so cool to me because we're being enveloped in the culture of Miyagi. I mean, the Okinawan culture is so important to this story, and these producers have gone so above and beyond to make sure that we are staying true, not just to the story that everybody loves, but the cultural aspects surrounding Mr. Miyagi. And they actually sent me to Okinawa for a couple of weeks. I was in Okinawa studying with other composers out there to learn, because they have their own scale of music. They have their own like chord progressions of music. And all of Miyagi doesn't sing a lot because he's a quiet man. You know, he's a pretty reserved individual. But when he does sing, it is rooted in everything I learned in Okinawa. And it gets cooler. The entire cast the other day, we had an Olympic karate champion. She was in the Olympics 2 years ago. She came and gave us a demonstration and taught us, even me, I wrote the thing, I'm not in the thing, taught us karate. Like, not
God.
how, like, I'm not amazing, but I know like things. But it was amazing just to be entrenched in that. And every step of the way, we're making something powerful and meaningful and spiritual in so many ways. And Miyagi's whole mantra of balance is just, look at this. It says balance right here on my
Oh my
bracelet
God.
here.
Oh, I got a candle right here. Balance.
That's it. That's my man. That's what's up.
This is actually from the original Cobra Kai dojo from Karate Kid, because it's a candle shop. I went there recently.
Oh my God. Wow. That is amazing. You have dedicated your life to this, and it is outstanding. I love anybody who goes all the way in, man. You're going all the way in. That's kick ass.
Yeah, well, I love, you know, everything about Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. You know, obviously it starts with the show and then it goes into the movies. Well, for me, I actually watched the show before the movies.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, I heard about this musical and I was like I was all for this. Like, I don't know if you know this, but 2 years ago, I had this channel for about 3 years, and it was like 2 years ago, I got a notification or something, New York Times, Cobra Kai Karate Kid's coming out with the musical, and
yeah,
I make a video on it with like, I have 50 subscribers at the time, and I make a video. I'm like, what? This is insane. And I mean, here we are now, like it's like 2.5 years later.
Wow, man, I know. And you know what? This is quick for a show. I mean, for a Broadway show, it takes somewhere between like 8 to 10 years to go from page to stage. The development process, because you don't get an editing room like a TV show or a movie. I mean, like what you put on stage has to be so precise and so thought out and so perfect. So it takes a long time to develop, but we're moving so fast because everybody involved with the project, Robert included, is just so like, let's go. We are so ready. And like, we're putting the hours in, man, to get it there faster than typical. And the work we're putting in shows. I'm very excited. And I'm so happy that you got excited about the announcement, just seeing as you're so passionate about Cobra Kai and everything. I mean, like, the story speaks to so many people, and I just love that you've just dedicated a channel to it. And look at the subscriber base now. It's amazing how well you've done. So congrats to you, dude.
Thank you. And I love, like, you know, with my channel, I try to talk about and do everything. So like, rather than stick to one thing, like, you know, anything that comes out Cobra Kai related, I try and cover. And like this musical, like, I'm just like, I love music. I have I have my guitar. Oh, you can't really see it, but I have my guitar and my
Awesome.
piano over there. Love music ever since I was a little
I
kid.
got my piano right here.
Already. There you go. So it's and also like I've never I've never been like I've never really gone to see too many musicals. I want to see more, but
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of High School Musical.
Oh, sure.
And like all the musical movies.
Get your head in the
Grease.
game. Isn't that High School Musical? Get your head in the game. Wasn't
Exactly.
that-
Exactly. Grease.
Yeah.
I can't think of any at the top of my head, but like those like the musical movies.
Absolutely.
Those are what I watch. So that's why like when I heard about this thing, I was all for it. I mean, it's
awesome.
my favorite movie turned into a musical, like Sweep the Leg.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh my God. Like seriously. When I first got told about the job, my agent called me and they said, they want to look at you for Karate Kid the musical. And I'm not even kidding. Like I didn't think there was a world where these two things could work. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm not like the biggest musical. I don't like Oklahoma, and I'm not a big old school musical guy. I like the new stuff that comes out that's really relevant to today's audience and like really speaks to a younger crowd. That's the stuff that really interests me. And I said no to this project for so long because I just couldn't imagine a world where Karate Kid would sing. You know what I mean? Like it seemed cheesy, and I really turned down this job for I think about 6 months. And then I talked to Amon Miyamoto, the director, and he explained his vision for it. And then I went back to California, where I'm from, and went and had lunch with Robert Kamen, and he explained, what this is going to be and how he and the director have envisioned this. And all of a sudden I said, this is not just a good idea. This is a necessary idea. This is and there's a ton of Broadway movie adaptations. Pretty Woman, Waitress. I mean, Hairspray was a movie adaptation. There's a ton of those on Broadway. So this is, to me, felt like, oh, are we just doing another one of those? This is beyond anything I anticipated. And the fact that I could come in and kind of put my own thing on it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I hadn't watched the movie Karate Kid since I was like 10 at the time. So I had to go back and like rewatch it. I used to call it the sleepover movie because every time I had a sleepover at a friend's house, it was like that movie and The Sandlot were the two movies we like watched all the time. And all I remembered was like wax on, wax off, the crane kick, and all the quotable things that everybody remembers from the Karate Kid, the very pop culture referential kind of things. But when I went and rewatched it, I saw, oh, this kid, when he gets his ass kicked that first night and he like throws his bike and he's like, I hate it here. You know that scene I'm talking about?
Well, that's my favorite scene.
But like when emotion is already that high, there's nowhere else to go except to sing. You know what I mean? Like that's where I was like, oh, he's an angsty teenager. Like he's got so much he needs to say that he doesn't know how to say. This is where a musical makes sense to me. And I love any story that is a student, teacher, master, sensei, student kind of thing. I'm all about that. So I found my way in, and here we are doing it. And the fact that people are getting excited about it, it's all too real. I'm still pinching myself about it, kind of. But yeah, I turned this down for 6 months.
Wow.
How stupid I could have been, honestly.
So why did I'm curious, like, why did they choose you specifically? Like after 6 months, after they turned you down, why did they want to go after you?
Well, Drew, I'd like to think it's because I'm the most handsome, but I do think, honestly, I don't know. It's hard to talk about without sounding like I'm all too aware of what it is I bring to the table. But I know that I don't write, like pop writers will say I write too much like theater, and theater writers will say I write too much like pop rock.
Yeah.
So I think they saw that I lived in this in-between area, which was really perfect for a show like Karate Kid, because they didn't want it to sound like a musical. And it doesn't sound like a rock concert by any means, but it has these elements of really earnest pop rock. That is a thing I've been doing since I was a teenager. I've just been writing songs like that. And I saw a lot of myself in Daniel. And I think when I presented them my first song, I kind of, to get a job for a Broadway show, you have to spec, is what they call it. So you write a spec song. Like, here's what I think the show could sound like. What do the producers think? And whatever I wrote really spoke to Robert Kamen in particular. And Robert told me, he's like, once I heard that song, I didn't even want to hear the rest. And that's how I got the job.
Wow. Okay.
Again, I pinch myself all the time. Like, it's wild, man. I've been working my butt off to get something like this for the last 16 years, 17 years. And I can't believe I'm here. And it's like, holy shit. At the same time, it's like, oh, I have the weight of one of the most popular movie titles on my back right now. And a lot of people are going to want me to fuck it up. So I'm just trying really hard to do the best job I can. And I think with this team, we're giving them the Karate Kid musical people are going to want to see. I'm really excited for folks to experience it.
Yeah. You know what's cool? Like, this whole thing, it kind of reminds me of like how Cobra Kai, like the beginning of Cobra Kai, because when everybody heard that there was going to be this Karate Kid sequel television show on YouTube.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you bringing it back? You're going to ruin it.
That's it. People are so scared it's going to ruin their favorite thing, because the movies are like a lot of people's favorite thing. So like, don't, like with Cobra Kai, don't go fuck something up that we love. People are tweeting at me so much to the point that I just got rid of my Twitter. But
really?
Like, oh yeah, the hate I get on Twitter from Karate Kid fans.
For this?
Oh yes. Yes. Why are you doing this? What, like, people do not want this to happen because they are scared we're going to ruin it for them. But if the guy who created it, if Robert Mark Kamen is putting his stamp on it, that's got to give people some faith that we're in good hands here. And with this entirely eclectic and wildly talented team, we're going to give them exactly the thing that they think we're going to ruin. You know what I mean? It's like, you like Karate Kid, then see the musical. You like Karate Kid, go watch Cobra Kai. I mean, some of my favorite parts of Cobra Kai are when they do the flashbacks to the movie. You know what I mean? And you see young Ralph Macchio, and it's like wild how it all ties back together. The guys who created Cobra Kai are geniuses, as far as I'm concerned. They really found a gold mine there. So lesson to you kids who are hating ideas like this, trust the people. Trust them. I mean, like, if they are putting that much of their heart into something, chances are they're not trying to ruin it for you. They're trying to extend a legacy. They're trying to embellish an adaptation, a new way to tell the story for the next generation and for the next generation. Don't be hogging it for your generation. Let the new kids come in and love it. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
Yeah. It's like you're not trying to replace the Karate Kid. You're trying to, like, this is like this is honoring it.
Absolutely. The Miyagi verse is expanding by the second. I mean, oh my God, if we think Karate Kid, the musical, and Cobra Kai, the series, are the end of how the karate, it's like Star Wars. It's going to go and go and go, and it's going to keep meeting the next generation. You know, like the crank kick and balance, that's a goddamn religion to people. It is. People live by the things that Miyagi taught. Like it's the Bible or something. You know, let people get a sniff of what you loved about it so that they can love it too. It might be through a different avenue than the movies, but man, let them in. It's a big jacuzzi. Why can't we all be hanging out? You know?
Yeah. I know it's very early to ask this question, but I'm just curious if maybe like this thought ever came to your head, or if someone ever just mentioned it. There are a couple Karate Kid movies, so would it be impossible to maybe think, oh, like, if this is really good, Karate Kid 2 is a great movie.
Karate Kid 2 the musical?
Karate Kid 2 the musical.
Maybe.
You went to Okinawa.
I mean, I'll just say never. Honest to God. It's like everything is amazing and nothing is surprising at this point. So if this turns out to be a big success and producers are sniffing more money somehow, of course, I'm sure they'll find a way to do a sequel. But I think what's really going to happen is we're going to open on Broadway when we open. And then we're going to tour all over the country. And we're also going to probably do some shows in the UK and in Japan and Australia. And it's just going to be global for a minute. I don't know about a sequel, though. And let me tell you how long this has taken and how much work I'm putting into this. I'm going to be on vacation for a minute after this before a sequel starts.
Oh my God. I know you're really busy right now. So it's like these past couple of months, it's been like pretty much every day, or at least every other day for you, right?
Yeah. You know, even during the pandemic, Broadway, you know, like the rest of the world, Broadway shut down. And because it was a live performance living for a lot of people, Broadway stayed shut down for a lot longer than everywhere else. And where a lot of actors and artists were out of work, God bless our producers. They really were making sure that we knew when we come back, we want to be ready. So they had us continuously working on the show. There was really no off time during the pandemic, or during the, I mean, it's still going on, but during the height of the pandemic, we were still chugging along and rewriting the show and thinking of casting and thinking of new song ideas and this, that, the other. And the minute that theaters opened back up, we did our first industry workshop. Like literally the minute things opened back up, we got a workshop going on. So it's been busy for a lot longer than the last couple months, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I've been breathing and eating Karate Kid for the last 3, almost 4 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And nobody knows, and like there's so much like that nobody knows. Like what's it like keeping all of this? Like you're seeing the sets, you're seeing it
Painful.
Like, you know it,
painful.
you just wanna take a little video, post it.
Homie, all I want to do is like shout it from the rooftops. And like honestly, I've like posted like an Instagram picture of like the artwork that we're using, which is kind of, it's beautiful. I mean, it's up on my Instagram now, but the minute I did, I got a little slap on the wrist from the producers being like, well, that's not public yet. Take that down. So everything that I have seen that I want to share, I just can't share until we open, basically. Because we want to keep it a secret. We're trying to keep a tight lid on it so nothing's given away, so that when people come to the show, they're actually going to be crapping in their pants, amazed. I mean, like, honestly, I think it's worth the reveal, but it is so hard to keep it secret, dude. Oh my God. You were emailing me. I was like, I wish to hell I could just give you like a snippet of a song or something. I really wish I could. Unfortunately, I cannot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, who wants spoilers? Like, just go in and
Everybody.
enjoy it.
Everybody does. But
the people who really care, like I don't want to know something and then like that I could really enjoy watching it for the first time.
Totally. No, absolutely. It's worth, that's a satisfaction right there. That's like a good feeling when you go in, you're like, wow, I'm so glad I knew nothing about this because that just surprised me. But there's also a part of me that wants to be like, and here's a little nugget of a song, just so you know, we're not screwing this up for you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to get the trust for people to come. But that's not how it's working right now.
Okay. When did you get this like job? What year?
The end of, I think, December of 2018. I was approached in June of 2018, and I got the job December of 2018. And it was right around that time that I met Ralph Macchio and Julia Macchio.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you want to hear that story? Do you know anything about this?
I have no idea. I definitely want to hear about this.
All right. So back in 2018, I really, really needed work at the time. I had like a couple of like almost like Broadway contracts, and the shows were getting developed with Warner Brothers and Ron Howard, and like things were looking great. But then, you know, sometimes it doesn't pan out, and those particular contracts didn't pan out. So I was back to square one, and I was just kind of thinking, what's next? What do I do? Karate Kid came and knocked on my door, and I, even when I needed a job, said no for all those 6 months. And right when they finally convinced me to apply, like submit for the job, and then I got the job, like the very next week, I got hired for something else called Skittles Commercial, the Broadway musical. And it was a Skittles Super Bowl ad, but instead of Skittles buying like a $10 million 30-second spot for an advertisement during the Super Bowl, they staged a full-length musical about Skittles starring Michael C. Hall from Dexter. And also in the cast was a girl named Julia Macchio. And I went up to her the first day. I go, and she looks just like Ralph Macchio. Yeah. And I went right up to her and I said, is your dad Ralph Macchio? And she goes, yes, he is. And I go, I just booked the Karate Kid, the musical. And she goes, that's you? Well, I was just hearing about that. Like, it was so the happenstance that I just booked Karate Kid. And then the next week met Julia Macchio in the cast of this other silly thing I was writing. It was just such a whirlwind of like, the stars are aligning, Drew Gasparini.
Oh my God.
It was so bizarre.
Did you meet Ralph?
I did, yes. Ralph came to the after party and I got to hang with him and I told him I was doing it. And then we had like 20-minute conversation. I have pictures somewhere on the Instagram if you scroll deep enough. It's just me and Julia and his son, Daniel, and their agent. I think they all have the same agent. So she was there too. And we all took a picture together and it was my parents as well. It was like a really fun, like meeting of the families. It sounds very mafia, but the meeting of the family, Gasparinis and Macchio, how more Italian could you get? But he was so lovely and had nothing but kind things to say. And he loves his daughter so much, as do I. And he's just like a real down to earth family man who happens to be the star of one of the most famous franchises of all time. I really got a kick out of hanging with him. He's a great guy.
Wow. What did he have to say about the musical? Like, was he on board?
Yeah. Oh my God. He's actually very excited about it. And even during the pandemic, I saw him talking on like a CBS talk show, The Talk, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And while he was on that show promoting Cobra Kai, he mentioned The Karate Kid, the musical, and mentioned my name and said it's being written by Robert Kamen and the music is being written, music and lyrics are being written by Drew Gasparini. It was like a really lovely shout out. So he's thumbs up all the way and he's very excited for this. And I'm sure when it comes to Broadway, he'll be rolling up opening night in a canary yellow convertible. I have a feeling that's what we'll see.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's gonna be a real big event for sure.
Yeah. What was it like working with Julia Macchio? I knew she was an actress, but
yeah,
she does theater too.
She's like, oh yeah. She's crazy talented, like a dancer. Like I'm amazed at how well she dances. I'm not a big dancer at all. That's not my world. But also a singer. And I don't know if it's still available on Spotify, but she's got like some featured solos in the soundtrack for the Skittles musical we put out. So you can hear her sing. She's so talented. We stay in touch. We text all the time, just checking in. And she's the loveliest human little person ever. And she's like a cute little nug. I love her so much. She's great.
Did you see her in Cobra Kai?
I did. It was amazing. And she was fantastic.
She was so good.
She was so great. I was so happy for her. That's amazing.
Yeah. And Daniel was in Cobra Kai. I don't know if you saw Daniel.
I did not. Who was he?
So he was actually in the background. So
okay.
He was very hard to miss. He was like in season 3. There was like that city council meeting.
Yes.
When they were trying to save the tournament, and
yes,
Daniel was sitting right behind his dad in the stand.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, that's so great.
They'll have to get legacy.
You on. Yeah, I'd love to. Oh my God. If anybody's listening, I'd love to just, even if it's a walk-on, I'll be in the background. That's fine. Just let me hang out with those kids. They're cool as hell.
I could see like maybe like someone's at a restaurant and there's like the like light piano music in the background.
Hell yeah. Just shove me in the corner with the piano and I'll be the piano guy at the bar. Please. That'd be amazing. Only if a fight breaks out. I would love it so much if like I'm playing piano and like glasses are shattering and it's like over the top fight choreography.
It's like you're like playing the music like to like sync with the fight.
So silly. Oh my God.
You practice that.
That's a dream. That's a dream. That would be so fun.
Oh my God, that'd be perfect. So you said you hadn't watched Karate Kid since you were like 10 years old. So
yeah.
Did you like when they like asked you to do it, like did you like remember the story? Did you have to rewatch it?
I really had to rewatch it to remember the story because when I was 10 and watching the film, I really just liked the moments that like made me laugh. And I also really loved I really loved Kreese and I really loved Johnny, even though they were like the bad guys of the movie. I thought they were like the coolest guys. You know, it was like the cut off sleeves and just like badass. A teenager riding a motorcycle around. Like, how cool is that shit? It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I just remember like liking the characters, but like I had to go back and rewatch that movie as an adult to really have a better understanding of a kid who lost his dad, who moved across the country. And like, as a 10-year-old, you don't really let the significance of the pain of that really sink in. And that scene with Mr. Miyagi breaking down and getting drunk and like, That's the reason. I mean, that scene alone is the reason Pat Morita was nominated for an Academy Award. I mean, he did a beautiful job, but as a 10-year-old, as an adult, ouch, you know, like it really hits different. And I'm kind of glad I had this big hiatus from seeing the movie so that I could appreciate it differently and have a brand new memory of it, and not just, oh, that really entertaining movie that like represents my childhood. Because everybody, you know, after the movie's done, everybody's trying to do the crane kick and everybody's saying wax on, wax off, and just quoting these memorable quotes. But the story didn't sit with me. So I'm really glad I saw it as an adult, because it is a beautiful story. It really is.
Yeah. And that's like insane that you said that you went to Okinawa to like what, just to like study the music for it?
Yeah, literally. I mean, like it's so here's a great example. When Mr. Miyagi shows Daniel the crane kick for the first time, he's doing it standing on that pylon in the beach, right?
Yeah.
He's on that stick in the beach, and he's surrounded by the waves, and he's surrounded by nature. And I just thought, oh, they're in Los Angeles, the beach makes sense, blah, blah, blah. But really, deep down, Miyagi's whole thing with balance comes from nature. So not only did I get to work with these amazing composers in Okinawa, but I was given a tour of a very spiritual ground. And it's like stark silent. And you're walking around, and it's like lush tropical greenery and waterfalls and rocks that are set up in such a way that people come here to pray, that kind of thing. And cicadas, these bugs, you know what cicadas are?
I don't.
They're like a locust or something. I don't know how to describe it, but there are these awful bugs. They're horrible bugs. But they were making such a loud noise. There was like a big wasp, like not a wasp, what's, you know, like a collective of bugs, a big group of these bugs, making a very loud noise. And the guy, Kyoto, who is the person who had the idea, brought the idea to the producers to make Karate Kid into a musical. His name's Kyoto. He's a beautiful man. He said, listen, the cicadas, they're screaming. And I was like, oh. And then he would take me to another area, and he goes, listen, the waves. And I was just like, oh. So like having a sense of your surroundings and being able to like breathe in all that is around you in nature and all that kind of stuff. That's really what I took away from Okinawa. Not just the lesson in music, a lesson in the elements being a really deep-rooted part of Miyagi's philosophy. You know, that's why he has these off-kilter brands of teaching of wax on, wax off, paint the fence, sand the floor. All that stuff is like, you use what you have. You use your surroundings. And when you can be quiet and hear, you're going to know what's right there. You're going to know what's right here. You're going to know what's right here. It was such a beautiful, immersive experience that I'm getting emotional talking about it, because I had never like sat to listen to nature like that. Anytime I think I had, like if I'm sitting on the beach, I'm like, wow, listen to those waves. I can always hear somebody else's conversation over there. I've never been in like stark silent and just listening to what nature sounds like. It was a beautiful moment. And that's what I took away from that trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, because it's like you went like on like kind of like Daniel LaRusso going to Okinawa in season 3. You had like your own, like it was like a self-discovery thing, right?
Very much so. Oh my God. I mean, like I came back. I'm not even joking. I think like on the plane back, I rewrote all of Miyagi's stuff, everything. Wow. And the minute I got back to my apartment, I pulled out my piano and this instrument that is called a sanshin. It's a 3-stringed instrument from Okinawa. And it's made of snake skin, and it's really, really cool. And the producers are rad, and they got me this thing to go study and learn it. And I was just sitting there again, trying to like just block out all the noise in New York City, which is impossible. But I just started plunking on this sanshin and wrote these nuanced little Miyagi-isms. And that trip gave me all the ingredients I needed to create the music surrounding Mr. Miyagi. Because I think anybody who hears the Karate Kid, the musical, would worry about how are they going to get Mr. Miyagi to sing? Is there going to be a wax on, wax off song? No, because that would be fucking ridiculous. It would take away from such an important moment. So no, he's not going to sing wax on, wax off.
Dang.
But he is going to sing. Yeah, dang. Sorry, kids. But he is going to sing about the really deep-rooted, important stuff. When he is showing him the crane kick and he's teaching him the lesson about balance, that's a moment for a song. We were just rehearsing that number right before I came here. Oh my God, it is so beautiful. Really, Keone and Mari Madrid are our choreographers, by the way. So shout out to them. If you have not heard of them, go on Instagram right this minute. Look up their stuff. They are gorgeous, award-winning composers. They've worked with some of the biggest stars, like I think Billie Eilish and Justin Bieber, and like it's bananas. They are gorgeous choreographers, and they incorporate all this martial arts in their movie. It is just way too cool. Anyway, I digress. That trip to Okinawa changed my life, no doubt. Even if I wasn't writing Karate Kid and I'd had that experience, my life would still be changed. It was amazing.
Wow. That's crazy. So wait, so who sent you on this trip again?
Our producers, Kumiko Yoshi, she is our lead producer. She works for the company Gorgeous Entertainment in New York City, and they do a lot of work in Japan and in New York. And like I mentioned, Kyoto, he is an associate producer and our dramaturg as well. He's the one that came to them, I think, like a long time ago, 10 years ago, I think, brought the idea to Kumiko, our producer, and said, Karate Kid should be a musical. It's like my favorite movie. It's huge in Okinawa, by the way. It's like so big in the East. It really is. So she went, and it took her years to acquire the rights and figure out how to do it and set the team up and get Robert's approval and get the director and get the composer and get the, like, she's the one that wrangled everybody. And she's just a very smart, artistically minded producer who is just getting the best of the best of the best when it comes to what people do within the process of the show. So Kumiko Yoshi, shout out to Kumiko. She is the greatest. We love her. And she's the one that sent me out there.
That's funny, Komiko, right?
Yeah,
like from Karate Kid.
I know. There's too many crossovers. It's insane.
That's awesome. Wait, so it wasn't even Kamen's idea for this.
No, I believe he resisted it at first because I don't think he knew much about Broadway at the time. He's such a movie guy. I mean, like,
yeah.
When I sat down with him, I was like, yeah, Karate Kid. Can we talk about The Fifth Element for a little bit? Because like that is my favorite movie of all time. And Taken, I mean, for the love of God.
Yeah.
But he's been so busy with his wine company out in Sonoma and his other movie projects that Broadway was like the last thing on his mind. But Kumiko took him out to a lunch and just kind of said, here's the business of it. Here's how it works. And here's visually what this director has in mind. And I think he was just like, wow, that is something I was not expecting. I'm in. And he's in, like, big time.
Awesome. So he's writing the book.
The book. Yeah, that's like the script. For musical theater, the script is called the libretto or the book. Yeah.
Okay. So since like the movie, like we've already seen the movie. There's already a script for the movie. How does the book compare to the movie? Like, does he change a lot of stuff up? Does he change dialogue, or is it pretty much like sometimes copy paste? It
is certainly, I wouldn't say it's copy paste because an adaptation is an adaptation for a reason. Like you can't go from Daniel in one setting to Daniel immediately in another setting on stage because there has to be like a set change. So, and Robert kind of had to learn a lot of this along the way. He had never written a musical before. And I think he'd be the first to tell you it's more challenging than he thought or than he's used to. But all of the movie is there. The story is all intact the way that you would expect it. There are enhancements to certain characters. Allie has a little more life in the musical because as amazing as Elizabeth Shue is and as cute as Allie is as a character, the movie, I think we can honestly say she's kind of just there to be the love interest for Daniel. And we're giving her a little more attitude, which is really cool. It's kind of how they took a lot of the young women in Cobra Kai and just made them a little more badass. We're making Allie just a little bit more badass. And Lucille LaRusso is played by Kate Baldwin, who is like a Broadway icon, 2-time Tony nominee. And we're giving her a lot of meat to work with as well. So, because in the movie, we see Lucille at the top of the movie, and then we kind of lose her until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
So now Lucille kind of is throughout the story. Allie is also throughout the story. Johnny is a little more in the story than he is in the movie. And Kreese has the 2 biggest show-stopping numbers ever. I can't say it enough. I seriously just wish I could play you these songs or show you some footage of rehearsals. You're gonna crap your pants. But it is, I mean, all I can say is it's an adaptation, so things have to be adjusted so that they work on stage rather than a movie. But it's the Karate Kid. It's the same story everybody's expecting to see.
Yeah, I definitely, like, even though I don't know what it is, I mean, if you're composing music for like Daniel, I can maybe see Miyagi, I can maybe see, but like Kreese, like,
Oh yeah,
like I know that's gonna be sick. And
dude,
yeah,
Kreese is my favorite person to write for. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like, it's like hard metal. It is like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Up here, or he tucks his hands in the
Yeah.
belt down here. Yeah, it's great. And our guy does that too.
He
His
does
name's
that.
Alan H. Green, another Broadway vet, super badass. He puts his hands like this, and he's like 6'3" and a shit brick house. He is so big. He's the most intimidating guy, and he's got an insane voice, and he just rocks out. Johnny and Kreese are my 2 favorite characters to write for, easily. The villains are so fun.
Oh yeah,
Bad guys
definitely.
are always the most fun, man.
Yeah. Like Martin Cove, like it's amazing to think. I think he was in like a couple of the scenes at the dojo in Karate Kid, and then the
Yeah.
tournament. That was it.
I think he has a collective like 6 minutes of screen time,
It's insane, but
he's like an iconic character.
iconic, and his role, like when he's in the scene, like it's just like
Yeah.
he's so present. He's
Oh
just
yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Same exact thing. Same exact thing with our Kreese. We've beefed up the character just a little bit. He goes into well, I don't want to give anything away. I was going to say he goes into you come see the show. You'll see. It's amazing. Oh, I was just going to say something else about it, but I can't remember what it was. I'm having a senior moment. Sorry.
If you remember, you could just cut me off.
All right.
I'm curious. I don't know if this goes into the spoiler territory, so if you can't answer that, that's fine. But
Let's see.
are there any I mean, there's been some deleted scenes from Karate Kid that we know, and there's so I'm curious, like for this musical, any of the deleted scenes brought to life, or any brand new scenes that
Yeah, there are some brand new scenes, and I'm wondering now if they are derivative somehow of the deleted scenes from Karate Kid. I am not positive about that, but without giving any spoilers away, I can say that there are some new scenes that are very, very necessary, just for the flow of the show and the storytelling, and to enhance characters. Yeah, that's all I think I can say about that.
Okay. I'm curious, like what was your, like when you told your friends and family about this project, like what was their reaction?
2 very memorable reactions. My 2 best friends, 2 of my best friends, I should say, F. Michael Haney and Alex Brightman, who currently plays Beetlejuice on Broadway in Beetlejuice. Go check him out. He's great. I was getting wings and beer with them and just kind of having a good time. And I was also supposed to be going to a meeting to find out whether or not I got the job. And I was with them, and I was kind of like, oh shit, I gotta go to this meeting. And they came with me, and they sat at a bar while I sat at a table with Kamiko and Michael from Gorgeous Entertainment. And they gave me the news that I got the job. And I just looked over to my best friends, and I was like, guys, I did it. So they were very excited for me. And that was a really cool, memorable moment. And then I called my parents, of course, and I was like, oh my God, I think my life's about to change. I just booked Karate Kid, the musical. My dreams are coming true. This is the biggest thing I've ever gotten. And my dad said, wow, like everybody knows that movie. And I was like, oh shit, everybody knows this movie. Like I started to panic a little bit.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 like initial reactions, but everybody, like when the announcement officially came out, and there was like a big press release about it, I was met with love from friends and a lot of skepticism from people who don't know me but are protective of the Karate Kid.
Yeah. Yeah, people I think the people who I don't know, I mean there's not I don't know if Cobra Kai and Karate Kid has a big musical fan base because that's not what it is, you
Right,
know?
right. But you'd be surprised. I find it all the time. Musical theater fans exist among us when we don't know it. Like there
Yeah.
are secret theater fans all around. You know what I mean? You could go down to Mississippi into a gun store, and the guy back there will be like, "Hello, Dolly." Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't just singing musical theater. Did you want to buy a gun? You know, so I just think that in the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid verse, there are plenty of musical theater fans. But again, like I said at the top of the show, there's going to be a really amazing fusion of two worlds. And maybe those Cobra Kai kids and Karate Kids will find a new love for theater through this musical, which is what I'm extra excited about, because it's not like typical musicals in several ways. So it might be a really cool way for them to get into musical theater.
Yeah, yeah, like people who just like Cobra Kai or Karate Kid, and it's like, let me check this out because it's Karate Kid. I don't care about the
Yeah.
musical, and then boom, you're into.
Yeah, and you know, musical theater is not like the same stigmatized thing it used to be. It's not like a bunch of this and that anymore. Really,
Yeah.
it's like, look at what The Spring Awakening was written by Duncan Sheik, and it's like an angsty rock musical. And Hamilton, for Christ's sake, is all hip hop. The record was produced by The Roots. I mean, like, that's as cool as you get. Sarah Bareilles is one of the greatest pop songwriters of all time, and she wrote Waitress and then starred in Waitress on Broadway. So there is a cross-pollination of things already happening. So it's not like, oh, musical theater, I don't listen to that genre. It's like, yo, we're creating the genre. It's not even a genre. Pop star Katy Perry did a cover of a musical theater song not too long ago. They are our world. We are their world. Just again, the jacuzzi's big enough for everybody. Join the party. It's fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, what I like what you mentioned earlier because, like, with Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, it's not just one genre of music. It's
Yes.
so broad. Like, you know, you go to Johnny Lawrence and it's 80s rock, and then you
Yes.
go to Mr. Miyagi and it's pan flutes and violins, and then
That's exactly
there's
right.
synthesizers. It's so broad. So, like with this musical, you know, you have like to like kind of like explore the whole palette. So like how do you do that like as an artist? Like go from like a Johnny score to
Oh,
Miyagi, which is completely different, but it has to kind of tie together.
totally. Honestly, if I didn't write Miyagi's material right after that Okinawan trip, I would have a hard time tapping back into the zen that I need to find in order to kind of write that music, because it's simplistic, but it's beautiful, and it's minimalist because it's like all acoustically minded instruments, and it's really earthed. That's how I would say Miyagi is. It's just one with the earth. And Johnny's a little more like bombastic and like just ready to pop at any minute. So he's got a real exciting, like explosive energy behind his songs. And Kreese has trauma from war and is like indoctrinating these kids to think really maliciously and hatefully. So I use a lot of like, in particular, a reference point without showing you what I've been writing. A good reference would be listening to the Metallica album, S&M, Live with the San Francisco Symphony. It's Metallica playing with a symphony, and it's just so over the top big and so over the top dark. And that's what Kreese is like for me. And then this Allie that we're writing for, and our actress is so great playing Allie, and her voice is so perfect for this. She's got this more like, kind of like, I don't want to be this country club girl. Like, I don't want to be this rich thing. I'm like, I'm a badass too. She's got this punk rock attitude. So she's got this like fun drive to all of her stuff. And Daniel is just, he's heart. You know, if Miyagi's the earth and Johnny's a volcano and Kreese is just a fire, I think Daniel's the heart of it all. You know, so all of his songs, it's like writing for myself because I know what it's like to be the underdog by a lot. I've got a mentor in New York City, and it's just like Daniel. He went from East Coast to West Coast and found his mentor that he desperately needed. And I moved from the Bay Area to the East Coast, I didn't know anybody in New York. And I met this man, Louis Sacco, who became my mentor. And it's because of him that I stayed in New York and kept trying. And it led me to tiny victories and then some big victories. So I know Daniel in and out. I could write Daniel in my sleep. So that's the easy one. But when it comes to like the fun, that's Kreese. That's Johnny. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes me excited about this, is that like, and that's what I think people will like about it. It's not just one genre. Just
No, not at all.
It's everything.
Oh, yes. It's quite an eclectic score. I mean, you're right. Just like Cobra Kai is. Those guys, what are they? Zach something?
Zach Robinson and Leo Berenberg.
Oh, wow, do they kick ass. I'd love to meet those guys too. One of their moms messaged me on Twitter to say how excited she was.
Wait, what?
Seriously. Yeah, seriously. And it was really,
Oh my
really
God.
sweet. And but those guys really nail it in terms of creating that 80s aesthetic for Johnny, which I'm trying to do for Johnny as well. And I think we're both simpatico in our approaches to the character of the piece rather than the piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you about them, because I'm huge fans of them. I've interviewed them a bunch of times on my
Oh,
channel.
cool.
I love their work. Like
Yeah.
they really, you know, I would say before Cobra Kai, my first like I'm into television score and film score, you know, like Star Wars, but I
Oh,
also
yeah.
also the Lost score by Michael Giacchino.
Big time.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So those two were like my thing, and then Cobra Kai, like I've never in my life like listened to instrumental music for hours and hours, but that's what the Cobra Kai soundtrack did.
Absolutely.
So good.
It moves us. Like they do such a kick-ass job. And again, you know, with our musical, I'm writing the songs, you know, I'm writing the music and the lyrics. So those are the songs. But when it comes to the incidental stuff and like the transition music from scene to scene, that's all being arranged by another genius named Andrew Resnick, who does exactly what those guys do in terms of like creating a totally different palette from scene to scene. And it like set, like when we're going into Kreese's lair, basically, you know, the dojo there is like this like evil lair. It feels like it is so over the top. It feels like Hans Zimmer. It feels like something from a Pirates of the Caribbean, like, oh, kind of cinematic adventure. It's amazing stuff. He's doing great.
It's like the Emperor's theme.
Yeah, honest to God, there's like a bit of the da 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 da, like that vibe. Not obviously not that song, but like the vibe of that feels exactly appropriate for something like that.
Yeah. So since Cobra Kai did like kind of give a character, like, because characters like Johnny didn't really have themes in Karate Kid. So
Right.
since Cobra Kai gives Johnny that like 80s theme and Kreese that, like, did you take any inspiration from Zach and Leo's score?
Actually, yeah, big time. There, especially for Johnny's heartfelt moments. There are times when we see in the score, we'll see Johnny like bullying, and then there will be like a little aside where we kind of see Johnny like look back and actually be jealous of Daniel and Allie. And like we didn't see, there's like the teenage version of that in the movie, but in Cobra Kai, they colored that musically so well, especially when they brought Elizabeth Shue back.
Yeah.
Remember that? And it's
Yeah.
like you could see the heartstrings are real for Johnny and Allie. That's like a real connection. He could not for the life of him get over her. When he starts texting her on Facebook and he's trying to figure that out, all the underlying themes of that, we're trying to add a little, not sensitivity to Johnny, because he's not all the way evolved yet. He's not an adult yet. He's still a teenager, but there's a lot more heart to Johnny. And that's something that I think has been influenced by their work on Cobra Kai.
That's so cool. Awesome. Are there any Bill Conti, like, are there any Bill Conti themes going to appear in the musical, or is it all original music?
It is. I'm proud to say it's all original music, but we do give a little like wink or two to some Bill Conti things, but not in the songs themselves, but in the underlying score, in the incidental music and stuff like that. There's like little nods to some of the more known songs from the movie.
Okay, but the score, like, you won't hear an exact same.
No. Also, because that can turn into copyright issues and you know, stuff like that, and that's just, it's too messy of a legal road to go down to even try to see if we can do it without paying somebody, or it just becomes a road to nowhere, basically. So, but again, we're giving homage to all the things that people love about the movie and the soundtrack and this, that, and the other. But it is a fully original score, and that, frankly, is what makes it so exciting and why people should be excited about it.
Yeah, I'm just like, now I'm just thinking about like how are you guys pulling off like golf and stuff, and like
we've got our spin on it. We've got our spin on it. The whole, like, it happens when it happens in the movie. You see all the, I don't know if we're going to have, like, isn't there like boats or something?
Yeah, yeah. Like
I don't think we have all the fixins, but we have like our makeshift version of it, so it works on a stage. And yeah, I mean, it's seriously, everything from the movie is in the play.
Oh wow, okay. And
in
even
some
like,
in some version,
in some way,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And like the water stuff, I'm also curious about, like, like Daniel swimming at the beach, like.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get anybody wet, but we will definitely like know it's a beach. That's all I can say. We'll know they're at the beach. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you reveal how long it is? How long the play is?
Yeah, it's about a typical movie length, typical Broadway show length, about 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Something like that. 2 hours, 20 minutes, maybe.
Intermission?
Yes, definitely an intermission. Otherwise, we need a pee break. We're not going to compete with anybody's bladder. There's definitely an intermission. Yeah.
Kreese needs to just step outside of the dojo for.
Yeah, he needs to get some fresh air. Come on, we got to get intermission. And plus, the audience members have to go buy some like Karate Kid swag. Like, I think we're going to be selling like headbands and shit.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, so of course there's going to be an intermission.
Go outside, you see Kreese smoking a cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
But it's not our Kreese, it's Marty Cove. Like, Marty, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, sorry, I should be on set for Cobra Kai right now.
You see, I feel like Martin, like, he's so passionate about Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. Like, he was on Dancing with the Stars. Like, I could picture him like being like, listen, I'm the real Kreese. Like, I'm gonna step in for a show. Like,
he is so excited about this. He has messaged me on Instagram. He has become friends on Instagram with our Kreese, and like I believe they've exchanged messages as well. He's very excited about this musical. Like, out of all the cast members of Cobra Kai, that's the last person I thought would be excited about this, and he is the most excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. He I think out of all the cast members, and yeah, I was surprised too when I discovered this. Like, he is the most passionate about the Karate Kid. It's his life. So
yeah.
I honestly am like now I'm not surprised that he's the one, like, that he's so passionate about this musical.
I am dying. Him and Billy Zabka, I am dying to meet them. I am dying to. And I don't know him. I just, Robert talks about him so casually. So he calls him Marty and Billy. But William Zabka, Martin Cove, I am very excited to meet both of you gentlemen. And so I'm hoping that I get to when they come check out the show, which I'm sure they will.
Is there going to be like, are you guys trying to like fly them down to like check it out or something?
I don't know if anybody's flying them down to St. Louis. I'm not sure, but I know they will be at the premiere for Broadway. Like that's, if they don't, what a missed opportunity for them. But even some of the other cast members of Cobra Kai, I believe, like there's some syncing up we're all trying to do.
Awesome. Have there been any other like cast members or crew members who have like kind of like reached out to you? Or
yeah, a couple people. I don't recall which one, and I can't check because again I just deleted my Twitter. But one of the hilarious Cobra Kai, the council members of the tournament, one of those people, they said, "Hey, if you ever need this guy, let me know." Like,
was it Ron? Was it Ron, the president?
Is that the guy with the glasses?
Yes.
No, who named somebody else? Maybe it was. I don't think it was him.
George.
Maybe.
Well, was it the actor's name? Matt. There's Matt Lewis. It was a guy.
Matt Lewis sounds right. I think it was Matt Lewis.
Yeah,
Lewis sounds right. An L seems right to me, but I could be very far off base. But yes, one of the council members reached out to me and they said, if you ever need someone to come play this part, just let me know.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. Oh, that'd be cool to have them like be in a cameo.
It's just cool to kind of get the support of their whole family, you know, like their whole side of the Miyagi verse. It's really cool to just kind of feel like we're all a part of something bigger than us, you know. That's I keep calling it the Miyagi verse,
Yeah,
just because it just seems like this big umbrella that we're all under in some way. Obviously, Cobra Kai is gigantic, and we're just like a little nugget trying to get fully produced in the whole thing. But it is really cool to kind of just have this unspoken, like if we ever ran into them on the street, to be like, Karate Kid, Karate Kid. You know, there's like this unspoken, like we're a part of this amazing thing. It's kind of neat.
yeah, part of the family.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. So working with Robert Kamen, I mean, you spoke about it. Obviously, it's a big deal.
Yes.
And he's very protective over the Karate Kid and
Yes,
these
he is.
stories. So, you know, he wrote the book. So, and you're obviously playing a big part in this, which is
Yes.
writing the music, the lyrics. That's like the whole thing. So,
Oh, yes.
what was like what did he tell you? Like, what was his advice? What did he like tell you about like this score in particular, how he wanted it to be?
He has given me certain advice in terms of like you know, like this moment should feel like this, and I'm totally hip with all the advice he has given me. And my goal is to be true to his story. That's everybody's goal. But like I said, this is his first musical. This is my 16th musical, you know. So there's also been moments where he's asked me, how does this work? And could we do this? And so I like our collaborative relationship in the sense that there is a back and forth, and there is a I'm going to explain what I'm looking for, and then I get to say, okay, well, let me explain how this can work on stage. So it's teacher becomes the master, master becomes teacher, like this all the time is kind of how the dynamic in terms of us writing together works. Outside of the writing, we have a really good time drinking wine and like having amazing dinners and just bullshitting about life. He's a very, very funny guy with an amazing story. His whole background is absolutely absurd and on so many levels. He should have a movie about his life. But I also just I look up to the man because of everything he's contributed to movies, and particularly some of my favorite movies of all time. It's amazing to be sharing the billing with him. He's a legend in Hollywood. So I can't believe it. But yes, I know he is very, very protective, and he made it very clear on our first lunch, you know, there's a reason he hired me. And I felt that when he said that, I took that pressure with me. And every day I live with a little bit of that pressure of don't screw up Robert's story, you know. And at the same time, I have to have my artistic input, and I have to say, but this is how this can work, and this is what I feel like the character should say at this point. And movies and Broadway are just very different. So this has been a big learning curve for him. At the same time, I have learned a whole lot from him. Very mutual respect kind of relationship. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Special.
It's just like when I remember the story when John, Josh, and Hayden, the writers of Cobra Kai, brought on Zach and Leo for the project. They're like, this is our Star Wars.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not mess it up.
Exactly. I mean, shit, when you come into something like this, it's like pressure is on to not mess it up, especially for the people that created it. You know, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, okay, because like Robert Kamen, he wrote all these iconic lines. He wrote all these iconic characters. When you're talking to him, having like a normal conversation, is there ever a moment where like he kind of like where you're like Robert, how's your day? And then he like just like all of a sudden like just says this like quote about like that sounds like Miyagi or something. Like
sometimes, yeah, I would say that sometimes he talks like nobody else I know. Like the way he's got a very intimidating way of speaking to people. I think anybody who's ever met him could say the same thing. You met him. I mean, like there's something intimidating about him because he'll smile at you. But you also know he could break your fucking neck. You know, it's like the guy is a karate master, and he's also does Tai Chi, and I just think he reads people all the time. He's a very interesting individual. Yeah, he's never. I'm trying to think if he said anything that like was like, wow, that should be in a movie or something like that. Most everything he says could be in a movie. He talks like his movies. I mean, he does. There's no wonder he comes up with these lines.
I will find you.
Yeah, honest to God, I
will
have
kill
a
you.
certain set of skills. Or whatever that line
Yeah.
is like, yeah, it's amazing. It's so badass. So he does kind of think in that language, and it's really a trip. It's a trip to hang out with, that's for sure. And in terms of his lines, I think it's important for people to know about the musical as well. That like, sweep the leg, put him in a body bag, wax on, wax off. Allie with an I, Daniel with an L, all of those lines are in the show. We're not taking anything from all the people that want to like scream the quotes out with the movie. It's all there for you guys. And Robert was very insistent on those isms.
Is Johnny or a cream puff in it?
I don't think so. that's a deep cut.
Yeah, that was a little too specific. That was like someone said it off screen. It wasn't even.
But you know what's so funny? Our choreographer is like, to get the cast to like pay attention, they do the quiet. They do that quiet thing that he does in Cobra Kai.
I mean, who does that?
Johnny does when he goes,
oh,
what?
Oh no, who from the musical does that?
Oh, our choreographers.
Oh my God, that's so fun. Like everyone's just talking and then
yeah, they do it jokingly, obviously, but it's really funny to hear it because it makes me think of Cobra Kai.
I was at a Comic-Con where William Zabka was there, and like, you know, there's like 100 people like walking around, and like so I guess like one of the fans was talking to William and asked him if he could say quiet. So he yells quiet, and the whole place goes quiet. The whole place, and then they start like clapping.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love that so much.
It's great. So I'll tell you my two favorite scenes from Karate Kid, and I'm curious. Yeah. I know you can't like spoil stuff, but like just like I'm curious like what your thoughts like are on like how you did these scenes in the musical.
Totally. Can't wait to hear this.
So the first one, which you touched on a little bit, I love the scene so much. It's when Daniel throws his bike away. Like, I just find like, well, first off, like Ralph Macchio and Randy Heller are incredible. Like,
yes.
I hate this bike. I hate this. I love. It's kind of like a meme in a way. Like
totally.
Like Daniel, why you throw your bike away? Because I felt like it.
Yeah, totally.
So I love it. And then, you know, I hate this place. I just want to go home. So like yeah, what can you talk about that scene?
All I can say about that scene is that was the scene I watched when I rewatched the movie, that I was like, this is a song. Like for me, this is a song. And Daniel and Lucille's relationship is so interesting because she basically drags him across the country against his will. You know what I mean? And then just kind of expects him to like be all right about it. And she's got to be tortured to see her son in such pain. The way it is staged is very, I'm not going to say musical theater, but very music video. It is very much like the world around him is like, he sees all the worst parts of California swirling around him while he's dragging his broken bike back to South Seas Apartments. And the song that he sings is all about how much he hates it there. And there's a moment in the song as well, and this isn't giving too much away, where he is basically like talking to his dad. And I think that's the switch we did. Instead of his mom coming out, it's him left with this bike, and he's pissed at it. And he's talking to his dad, like, why is she doing this to me? Why I could really use you right now. And it sets us up perfectly for when he meets Miyagi. There's a parental character for him right there, a paternal character rather, kind of answering his plea. Like, you know, that's what I got from it. So that is and it's like, tears in the show. I mean, the movie is so impactful, but what they accomplish in like a 20-second scene, we have like a 4.5-minute sequence, and it's just so gorgeous. It really is. The song works out great. Our cast is kick-ass. It's so well directed, and it's so heartbreaking. dragging this busted bike back to his shitty apartment that he doesn't want to be at on his first day, where he gets his ass kicked. Like how what else could possibly go wrong? Not to mention he starts talking to his dead dad. You know, it's like, how much more could our heart break for this guy? So right away we learn who Daniel is right in that song.
Wow. I am getting emotional just hearing about that. So
Oh, good.
I know, I can only imagine seeing that. I find it like I'm just like amazed because I don't think they mention his dad like one
Correct.
time in the movie, right?
Correct. There's an assumption. And I think it was Robert who brought that to our attention and kind of said this. There are some things that are not in the movie that Robert wanted in the movie, and now he has a chance to kind of put some of those things into the script. And I believe that the mention of the father is one of them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because him, yeah, like just yeah,
And
because
it's not like a big plot point. It's just mentioned. So now we know that Daniel, not only does he not want to be here, but it's like there wasn't a divorce. It's like his dad's not alive, you know, it's like it's a deep cut. So it does add emotional punch.
and I think like it works so well, and I never thought about that, like, you know, like how he's feeling in that moment. You never think he wishes his dad was there,
Right.
because I believe in Cobra Kai they actually say like his dad died when he was 8.
That's correct.
So
That's right.
so they say that. So, but I never like correlated, like, because he never said it. He never said it or acted like, oh, I miss my dad. It was just, I hate this bike. I hate this place. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like just his mom who is making this decision. He doesn't have that other person to console. Oh my
Right.
God. I can't wait for that scene.
Oh,
my
man.
God.
Good. Awesome, man. Your excitement is getting me excited.
Yeah. Soon. Couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
And then the other scene, which is another great scene, which I'm really excited to see how you guys do this one, is right after. Well, this scene is great. Alone is the drunk Miyagi scene.
Yes.
That's an amazing scene. But then I also love the scene that follows with Daniel training on his own, you know, doing
Yes.
the kata.
Yes.
Anything you could talk about with that scene?
That, I mean, honestly, I just because people know the movie and people probably know that scene, they're very similar to the movie. Daniel comes into Miyagi's house and finds him in a really inebriated state, and he's drunk and he's celebrating an anniversary of, you know, a wife that is no longer with him, and we find out about Miyagi's past because he's so tight and kept silent, and he doesn't reveal a lot about himself. So we learn a lot about Miyagi, and there's a beautiful moment where Daniel, it's kind of, you see the transition from student to, I think I understand it. And he takes care of this man who's been taking care of him, and he puts him to bed, and he has a better understanding of who his teacher is. And he goes and he starts practicing the crane kick. And it's just like that, but it's told through no song, nobody's singing, because that would take away from the earnestness of the moment. I have a feeling people think I'm trying to make every moment sing, and I'm not. Like some of the moments that are so beautiful like that shouldn't have a song. That would take away from the beautiful moment. So Daniel does go, and there's a bit of a montage of Daniel training by himself and just practicing and doing the kata and practicing his goju karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, for the people who you know, are maybe skeptical of the musical or saying these comments, it's like, you know, I hope that they see this interview, because even talking to you right now, and you know, this is clear. This is why Cobra Kai was successful. This is why I know that this is going to be successful. It's like, you're not just someone who's writing a musical. Like, you're a fan. Like, you're a fan writing this musical, and that's why, like, it, like, you care about the Karate Kid and the legacy, like
big time,
just like everyone else, you know,
big time. I mean, big time. And as an adult, again, like when I got the movie back, because I loved the movie when I was a kid for totally different reasons, and now loving it again as an adult, or finding my way back into the story, you want people to understand Daniel a little bit more. And I think a lot of people are going to find themselves in the character in a way that, like, adults who watch the Karate Kid find themselves in Johnny. It's like life doesn't always turn out the way, like when you see Cobra Kai, you see Johnny, a little burnout. His life is in shambles. It didn't go the way everybody thought it was going to go for Johnny. You feel for the guy. you know, and that's what Karate Kid is. You see this kid, you're seeing life not going the way you think it's going to go, and you just feel for this kid. So when you see him get that victory at the end and snap Johnny in the face, it's like, well, he deserved that, even though the idea is not about winning and it's not about losing. It is about facing what it is you're afraid of, facing what it is that has been holding you down, and taking it on. Whether you win or lose isn't the outcome. That's karate. That's Miyagi's message, right? So there is something beautiful that speaks to me in terms of being an artist and being in this insanely competitive industry. That really speaks to me. And you're right, when people are getting an idea of what they think the Karate Kid is as a musical, there's a reason this story has withstood generations, and it has spawned into 4 sequels and a gigantically successful television franchise. And there's going to be more of those, more spin-offs, more origin stories, more this, that, and the other. And now us, we're not doing anything to ruin your story or your experience with the Karate Kid. We're giving you a new way in. And it's a beautiful way in. And I really hope people come see us either in St. Louis. Tickets are on sale right now. Sorry for the plug. Stage is St. Louis at the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. Previews are from May 25th to May 30th. And then our official opening, which is already sold out, so get tickets, is June 1st. And then we run through June 26th. And then we'll be on Broadway some months after that. It's not announced because there are some steps to go. In terms of getting onto a Broadway theater. Most of it has to do with real estate, but we're going to be there. So if you can't wait for Broadway, by all means, come check us out in St. Louis. It's a beautiful theater, and the cast everything's Broadway quality. So please come.
Yeah. So in order to like get that world tour, obviously you got to sell tickets. Like, is that the biggest thing? Like,
I mean, right now it's just to get people excited about the show and get us to Broadway. So before a tour is probably, I mean, it is an inevitability once you get to Broadway. So get to Broadway first, have a commercial run on Broadway for as long as we're selling tickets. And then it'll tour the United States. It'll tour the Europe and the UK. It'll tour Asia, Japan, and Australia. It'll be everywhere in the next few years, probably. But it'll be in Broadway within, I think, nothing's announced yet, but my prediction is within a year.
Okay. That's awesome.
Like I said, it takes a long time. So people are like, another year. It's like, that's still so fast for Broadway shows. So thank you for your patience ahead of time, anybody who's interested in seeing this.
Yeah, and I have the links to the musical in the description if you guys want to go get tickets, check it out. It's gonna be epic. I'm excited. Cool. And I'm curious, are the soundtracks like, are they going to be like officially released on like Apple Music? Again,
once we hit Broadway, it's like, I don't think we can do anything before our commercial run begins.
Oh, really?
Because this is what they call an out-of-town tryout. So this is basically to get a response from an audience before we take it to sit in a theater for as long as possible on Broadway. But once we're on Broadway, yes, of course, there will be a soundtrack. And I'm sure there will be a song or two somehow released before then, just because we want to give the people a little bit of what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Give them a little bit. Yeah, definitely. Just a little tease. Just a little tease.
Yeah, there will be a little tease, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, when did you first discover your love for music, and like what made you want to like start it as a career?
My mom was a music teacher, so it was always just kind of part of my upbringing. And my dad was also a drummer, and there was always like pianos, guitars, basses, drum sets, like a lot of congas and hand drums and shakers. And like, you couldn't fall in any direction without landing on an instrument, honestly. And everybody in my family's musical, my brother, my 2 sisters, and they're all doing it professionally as well. I'm kind of happy to say. My brother's a teacher. But he also still plays music from time to time, and I do this. I'm a singer-songwriter. I perform, and I write musicals for a living, and I write with my publishing company, Concord. And my sister Casey is an actress who also writes songs, and she's developing a TV show called Folk with all of her own original music, which is really cool. And my sister Chloe became a TikTok sensation, is signed to a major label, and has written songs for the likes of like Tori Kelly and Dua Lipa, and she's a badass, and she lives in LA, and she's doing it for real.
Wow.
So yeah, everybody does it, and I just started writing songs when I was about 12 years old. And then by the time I was about 15 or 16, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And I even negotiated with my teachers. I said, look, we both know I'm not going to do the homework. How can you help me graduate? I really don't care about college. I just want to do this music stuff. And some of my teachers were really cool. And they'd say things like, if you come in every Friday with a new song, I will curve your grade. Like, they wanted to see the work ethic.
Wait, what teachers? Was it like a math class?
Yeah, honestly, I'd be like,
oh, wow.
I'm not going to use geometry after this. Okay. Like, God bless the people that are doing engineering, but that ain't me. That's never going to be my brain. So I want to be a songwriter. I knew it from a very young age. And I started getting support from a lot of my teachers at a very young age because they saw I had potential and promise, and I had a real hunger for it. I was obsessed. Still am. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
You know?
So, did you, so you didn't go to college? You went right into
I went to college because I was trying to do my parents proud. And I think I went for like a couple months before I dropped out. And then, you know, a degree, if you're going to college for songwriting, good for you. And there are amazing programs. The Clive Davis program at NYU is amazing, but you have to have $4 billion fucking dollars to go there in the first place. So I just realized you don't need a degree to play shows. So I just started playing shows and trying to develop a little audience. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to try writing a musical. And I started writing musicals. And I submitted a musical I wrote to the New York Musical Theater Festival. And they said, your musical sucks, but why don't you move to New York and meet some people because your songs are really good. So I moved to New York and I didn't know anybody. And I just started learning from everybody I could without a college degree. And it has led to writing on Smash for TV. And this is my 4th or 5th Broadway contract. And, you know, I've been able to pay my living and have a career without a degree. So I skipped that step. I was ready to work. I didn't want to spend time in school. And again, I'm raised by educators, and my brother's a teacher, and I full on support education. It just wasn't my thing. It just wasn't what I wanted to do.
So what were you, like 18 years old at that time?
Yeah, 19.
Okay. So were you like compared to everyone else, were you like one of the youngest there?
In New York?
Like, yeah, like when you first like got the job, like.
Oh, you mean when I first started like professionally writing songs?
Yeah.
I think professionally, like starting to get paid for it, I was in my early 20s. And what really helped is I wrote a bunch of theater songs, and college kids were buying the sheet music to sing for their showcases in college or for auditions in New York City. And then that's how my name started getting circulated, was people kept seeing my name, music and lyrics by Drew Gasparini, on the sheet music. And that's what spiraled into people knowing who I was. Really odd and not typical.
Yeah.
Very lucky, very grateful. Just truly.
Yeah, you knew what you wanted to do from a young age, and you just
Yeah,
did it.
as Robert likes to remind me, I don't have a plan B.
Oh my God. That's funny. Well, what was do you know his plan B?
He was a real academia. Like, he would have gone into being a professor. I think he was doing English or literature or something like that. Yeah, he was a real collegiate dude.
Okay, cool. And so that's awesome that you I saw like on your album, like you perform like a couple songs with your sisters. So what's it like, you know, like working professionally with like your own family?
It's up and down. I mean, like, it's 3 egos who know each other very well. So it's not like we're avoiding confrontation. A fight can be explosive, but we're all very close. Like, all of my siblings, all 4 of us are very, very, very close. It's a very tight crew. My parents as well. And I was in a band with my sisters called St. Adeline. I think that's still on Spotify as well. I loved doing that. Some of those songs are so fun, kind of folksy pop stuff, really, really fun. And it was a joy. But we all have also our separate things that we wanted to do. So staying in a band didn't make any sense. But playing together during those years was a lot of fun. And because they're both actresses as well, and I'm a theater composer, it was awesome that they were able to kind of just join me on stage when I did gigs in New York City, or hop on some theater albums I recorded. It's really cool to be able to collaborate with your family. Like, what a privilege.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So how many different instruments do you play?
Piano, bass, drums, guitar. And like I can fake any, like if you give, like I could play ukulele and mandolin if you give me a minute, or if you once you know guitar or any
Sanshin.
stringed sanshin, yes, absolutely. Once you know any stringed instrument, you can probably figure out another stringed instrument. But I don't do any horns or anything like that. So the main four, I could play a rhythm section: piano, bass, guitar, drums.
Can you play violin?
If you gave me one to fuck around with for a minute, yeah. I think I could figure it out. I would just need a couple hours.
Okay, because I play guitar. I played guitar for years, and
Awesome.
like the Cobra Kai soundtrack inspired me like to want to play violin. Like those just beautiful. So
Totally.
I get myself a violin for my birthday, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna learn this. It's gonna be easy. Like I'll be able to figure something out. Let me
Yeah.
just search up a quick YouTube video, and it's hard.
Oh yeah. I mean,
It's not
like,
easy. It's not easy.
You gotta give yourself a minute. And like honestly, if you have somebody who plays violin in your world at all, and they just teach you like, here are 3 things you need to know. If you know those 3 things, I swear it'll just be easier. Whatever those 3 things are, I don't know what they are, but like whatever they say, I bet it's so much easier after that.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where like I tried, and then like it's kind of like in the closet right now. Like,
Dude, good for you though. Like that's so ballsy. I'm just gonna buy a violin. It's like me. I'm gonna buy an oboe tomorrow and just see if I can fucking work out how to play an oboe. I don't know. That's wild. I think that's cool.
I'm waiting for the right time
Uh-huh.
to take it out, to really like I'll do it. I know I will.
I
That's my
believe in
goal.
you, Drew. I believe in you. You're gonna be a virtuoso one day. I'm sure of it.
Thank you. Like, cause like I like when I record my songs, I play the piano with the violin effect.
Yeah.
But I want to get that. I want to get that violin. So that's the goal.
Next on the list.
You'll see me do that this year.
Okay, I'm gonna
Within
hold
the
you
next
to that.
10 years. 10 years. I'll give myself 5
Okay,
years.
yeah. Wow,
Something.
that's very different than 1 year.
something. When did you like what's your like your go-to instrument, like when you're maybe
These
writing
days,
music?
probably piano, just because I write so much at the piano. But for longer than that, it was guitar for sure. Acoustic guitar mostly. Just because you live in New York City, you got apartments, you're sharing walls with people. Acoustic always seemed like a better idea than plugging in an electric and like cranking it out. But I miss playing drums a lot. I started playing drums when I was the youngest, I think. I was really, really young, like 8 or something when I started playing drums. My dad's a badass drummer. He taught me all the basics, and my mom taught me the guitar basics. And yeah, guitar and piano are probably the 2 that are tied as like the main guys.
Yeah. And you've got a podcast,
I
right?
do, yes.
Called Now We're Talking. So
That's right, on the Broadway Podcast Network. That's right.
yeah, so do you want to tell everyone a little bit about that, where they can listen to it and what it's about?
Absolutely. It's a talk show format, much like yours is, just interview. And I bring on Broadway stars, music industry stars, and people who are like celebrities or pseudo celebrities or celebrity adjacent from the world of theater and beyond. And we talk, and basically I don't want to be like, let's talk about this project. Let's talk about this project. Cause that's all fine and good, but most of that stuff you could like Google. So I ask them really ridiculous questions like, what's like, if I gave you all the ingredients, what would be the best breakfast sandwich you could make? Things like that, really stupid. Or like, I'll play like fuck, marry, kill Mario, Wario, or Luigi. So it's inappropriate, but it is really funny. We get good ratings, and people seem to like the show. We just finished season 2. and we're going to start season 3 this summer. And it's a laugh. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing it.
Are you hoping to bring on anyone from the Karate Kid musical?
Oh yeah, I've already had Kate Baldwin on. Kate Baldwin has been on, and she's the one that told me how to make a really good breakfast sandwich, and she nailed it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to ask a lot of the cast to come on, and I would love to have our choreographers Keone and Mari on. They're just very, very busy because they're like international stars and shit. But definitely there will be some Karate Kid people, and then down the line, I'd love to get some Cobra Kai people on too. It'd be very kick-ass. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So you're like you get interviewed, and you're also doing the interviewing. That's a rare thing for that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I stress out in every level possible. So I just try to stack as much onto my plate as I can.
What more can you do? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Maybe I'll buy myself a violin for Christ's sake.
Yeah, right now in the midst of rehearsals,
I just pull one up.
3 in the morning. It's like rehearsals in a couple hours. It's all right.
Got to warm up, tune up the violin. Here we go.
Exactly. And you also have a couple of albums that you've released. We Aren't Kids Anymore, Overboard, and I Could Use a Drink.
That's right, Overboard. Wow, that's a deep cut. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I feel like for I was curious, obviously, like what kind of music you've made, because I want to know like what we could expect from like your style for the musical. Like what can you like tell like fans about like that the music from your albums, like what style it is?
I think the best representation of whatever my style is, I don't know how to define it. It's like theater, pop, rock, folk, jazz, gospel, techno. I don't know. It's like it's a bunch of things combined, but I just think it just sounds like me. I don't go by genres, man. No, I just think it sounds like what I feel inside, and I just happen to like kind of catchy pop style music. And the album I Could Just Drink is a concept album, kind of from songs from a bunch of musicals I had written over the years, and that's the album that got the producer's attention to call me for Karate Kid. So they heard some. I to this day I don't know what it is. What they heard on that album that made them go, he should write Karate Kid. But that's the album. And then after I got the job, during the pandemic, I released something called We Aren't Kids Anymore, which is the most accurate to what I feel like I sound like as a writer. You're not going to hear a lot of the Kreese style or the Johnny style kind of heavier stuff, but it sounds like me. It's truly an autobiographical song cycle about my parents, about my siblings, about battles with addiction, about the life of being an artist and struggling to make it. It's all there, 20 songs, and that's what that is. So if people are curious about what the Karate Kid is going to sound like, I would say go listen to I Could Use a Drink or We Aren't Kids Anymore, because that's what I sound like. But the Karate Kid will sound different than those two albums. It'll sound like the Karate Kid the musical. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And like those songs, like listening to those songs, like they tell like a story, like as you were mentioning. So like you could definitely see like kind of like, with the Karate Kid musical, it'll tell the story there with those songs.
Oh yeah, very much. Very much. Yeah. Hopefully there's going to be a through line through everything. And there's going to be some heavy, there's going to be some light, because balance is key, people. I don't know if you knew that, but balance is key.
Not just for karate. For whole life.
That's right. That's a life thing, man. I wear a bracelet. You got the candle. That's the thing, baby.
Yeah. You got it. So what's your process like when you're creating a brand new score, especially like for this musical? You're given this scene's score. Like what's the first thing you do? How do you approach it?
Honestly, I throw spaghetti at a wall and I just see what sticks, just in terms of, because so much of writing, this is such a cliche, but so much of writing is rewriting. So you just kind of pile a bunch of shit into one song, as many rhymes and as many turns of phrase and as many catchy rhythms and catchy melodies and this and the other cool chord progression, just put it all into one song. And then when the director comes in and when the book writer comes in and the producers come in, they go, uh-huh, are we sure about this? I like this part, but this part didn't make any sense. And then it really just becomes puzzle piecing and then tightening it and chiseling away until the song is finished. So I just like pile a bunch of shit together for the first draft. And then honest to God, for every musical, if a musical has about 18 to 20 songs in it, I've written probably 70 songs for Karate Kid that have been cut and rewritten. And like, it is an endless process of rewriting. So you can imagine if I've written 16 musicals and let's say the average is like somewhere between 50 and 100 songs per show that don't end up in the show, but you write for the show before they get cut and edited. I've probably written thousands of songs. It's a really nuts thing to sit and think about, because when you're writing, you're like just like crumpling up paper and you're not even thinking about it. It's just whatever's pouring out of you. But the one thing that's key in terms of, besides balance, the one thing that's key in terms of my process is I have to find a way into the character. I'm a really character-driven writer. So I don't like when, and there are moments like this, you can't deny moments like this, but in theaters, sometimes you're like, we need a happy song here. And it's like, what? Why? Like, why does that character need to sing a happy song? Luckily, there's most of Karate Kid. The process has just been like, they've allowed me to just attach to Kreese and like find my vengeful spirit and Johnny and find my bitter, jealous spirit. And with Ali, find my like kind of badass, rebellious spirit. And with Daniel, find this good-heartedness and all of that stuff. If I can find myself in the character, that's how the score is going to come out being a success. So I'm glad I have the intuition and the empathy to be able to do that. And that's why I love writing theaters, because I can find myself in each character I write for.
Yeah. Go to a bar, start a bar fight, and boom, you're in the
Absolutely.
Kreese
I want to make
mentality.
sure I live it. You know what I mean? I'm getting a snake tattooed on my arm. I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm a method writer.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been called a method writer, and I think that's only a little bit true, because I wouldn't actually go get a snake tattoo and I wouldn't actually go start a fight. But like, I know what it feels like to be angry, and I will pace around my apartment just like, fuck it, just fuck it. Like, I will just try to like get myself pissed about something. Truly, I will. My girlfriend thinks I'm out of my mind. Anybody who shares a house with me at any point in my life has probably thought I'm insane, because I just take my phone out and I just start recording conversations before I write lyrics. I'll just be like, why the fuck? He's looking at Ali like, fuck him. Come on. I got to kick his ass. Like, I just start like, what would Johnny say here? You know, like that's part of my process. And then I try to take some of that and turn it into lyrics. And then we have a good time.
That's great. That's great. I love that. Oh my God. So when you write the songs, do you like keep in mind like, oh, this performer is singing this song, let me or play to their strengths, or do you?
Not initially, because usually there's no cast attached to it when I'm first writing the songs. And then when we get a cast, we'll start changing the keys to make it higher or lower, whatever's more comfortable for the singer, or we'll adjust a melody so it feels right for their voice, or, you know, all that stuff. It really becomes, theater is easily the most collaborative art form of most of the entertainment mediums. There's so many hands in the pie trying to make this amazing thing. Part of the reason it takes so long. So yeah, when a cast gets involved, things do evolve. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're scoring like all the songs with the lyrics. Are you also doing like, you know, in between all that when there's just background music? Are you doing that too?
I don't, no. So Andrew Resnick, that guy I mentioned before, will do we call it incidental music. It's kind of the underscore.
Oh, okay.
But it's derived from melodies and motifs. And he and I will sit and we'll talk, and like, I'm not going to play anything from the show. I almost got myself there, but
so close.
I know. So I almost got me. But I'll play like a melody of something. And then he goes, okay, that works right here in this moment. And then he'll take like a really pretty song and then really twist it up, and it'll become like this really like kind of this chase music when Johnny and the Cobras are in the skeletons.
Yeah.
You know, and they're chasing Daniel. Like it's like I said, it's cinematic. It really is. It's cool, but it's a collaboration between the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I know you said like you did that karate, that the karate person came, the Olympian, and did that whole thing. Like I'm excited to see, like, what can you tease about the dancing slash karate combination?
Yes, all I can say is that Robert was, I mean, that is one thing Robert was dead ass serious about, is the authenticity to the martial art karate,
Yeah.
and particularly Goju karate, which is the style that Miyagi teaches and the style that Robert learned from his Miyagi. And Goju means, I think it means hard. Go is hard and Ju is soft. So it's the balance. It's the hard and the soft is what Miyagi teaches, and it's very heavily influenced into the dance. Keone and Mari, our choreographers, are also very well versed in martial arts, and they study and have during this process have studied more with. I believe her name was Sakura. She was the Olympian who came and worked with us, but they knew her before, and they had been working with her to kind of make sure that the karate moves that they put into the dance is accurate to what Robert experienced and what Miyagi teaches, and also the style that Kreese teaches is very hard and strictly for combat. And karate is not designed for combat. Karate is designed for defense only. That's the legacy behind karate. Is it was never meant to fight. It was meant to protect. So there's all those kinds of things that we learn, and they've incorporated into the choreography beautifully. It is dance, but it's a dance. And I've said this 1,000 times. These choreographers are the greatest thing to happen to Broadway since Bob Fosse, in terms of reinventing the style, in terms of creating their own unique brand of movement. This team, they're a husband and wife team. I've never seen anything like it. And like, even we've seen the show 100 times now. We've seen the workshops, we're in rehearsals every day. When a number is done and they put it together and then we watch it for the first time, we stand up and like start, like, it is mind blowing. And the fact that, like, I've never seen dance put to my music before in this way. And they are just, what an honor. They're absolute geniuses. I can't say enough about them.
Yeah.
So anyway, longest answer to your question. They're doing a great job incorporating martial arts into their dance, and it all looks sort of martial artsy, but it is dance. I don't know how to describe it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna see some people like doing like some kicks and punches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So did the cast have to kind of like learn like some?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that we had this presentation, and it was like a 2-hour, like, we were learning all the. I was in and out because I was meeting with the producer, coming back in, and this, that, and the other. But the cast was there the whole time, learning all the basic blocks, basic punches and kicks and stances, and they all learned a mini kata. So yeah, the cast they're all amazing dancers, and martial arts is very dancey. I mean, just the nature of it is routine. A kata is a routine. It's a formation. That's what the word means, is formation. So they're all able to pick up everything that's thrown at them in terms of the martial arts parts of it. And there are some people in the cast who have had like a big background with martial arts too. So it's really cool to see come to life.
Does the musical stay true to, because like, you know, in the movies, Daniel like is always like you know, always in his,
Yeah.
Does the musical like stay true to like fighting, like was like their fighting style, kind of like Johnny the more like aggressive, kind of like jumping up and down?
Yes.
Daniel defensive.
100%. 100%. I mean, like, it's just like the music. Miyagi's very acoustic and earthed, and Johnny is like explosive. The way Johnny fights is explosive, and the way Daniel fights is his hands are open. Johnny's are closed like a fist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a big difference in their attitudes right away. And yes, we do incorporate that into the stage production as well. We took that from the movie.
Okay. And I know the main cast has like been like labeled like with their names, like you know who plays Johnny, Daniel, but then you have like the smaller characters, and I know there was like the ensemble cast listed. I don't those names, like those character names, weren't listed, I believe, right?
So parts of the ensemble includes your Tommies and
Bobby.
yeah, all of the Cobras, and Freddy is a principal character. We've given Freddy a bit more.
Nice.
Because he's so funny and like charming, and like, you know, he's actually just there to help Daniel out at the beginning, and is, you know, he's a great character now as well. And Barbara and Susan, Allie's friends, they're ensemble, but like they do have names in the show.
Mrs. Milo.
No, is that a teacher?
She was in the very beginning, like she was at Daniel's apartment when she's like,
no, yeah, I know who you're talking about. No, we don't meet her. We don't meet her. Devin, you know why? Because we'd have to cast like just for a movie. It's easy because that's a whole day of shooting just to get that like 2-minute scene. But like to have one old woman just play that one part in a show, and then she's done the rest of the show. She's always backstage. What an insane gig.
It's just like, this place is a dump. You should go back to New Jersey, and then that's it. He goes off stage, like goes off, comes back the next day.
Exactly.
Hey, I mean, listen, that's a pretty good job. I would.
That's a sick gig. What a paycheck for like 3 seconds of work. That's amazing.
Oh man. I'm trying to think what other ensemble characters. Is Daryl Vidal? Do you have a Daryl Vidal?
I don't know. I mean, like all of the Cobras kind of get named as like when Kreese is calling them to do one-on-one combat in the Cobra Kai dojo.
Yeah.
He does say their name, and we've renamed one of the one of the ensemble members. He says Mr. Kamen. So we snuck that in.
There you go. Oh, that's cool. Oh, so that's a good question too. So any like that right there that you put in a little Easter egg, are there any other like Easter eggs like in the movie or in the musical, like from the movie or the show that fans will know?
I will say, this is what I'll say without giving anything away, is that everybody asks me, is the song "You're the Best Around" in the musical? And I'm thrilled that it's not, because again, it would be so stupid to like have a chorus of people coming out singing "You're the best around," you know what I mean? But it's a great song.
Yeah.
But if you listen closely, you'll hear it sprinkled somewhere at some point. Just it'll make its appearance and then it goes away. So we make sure to give a little wink to the super fans who want that song in there. Other than that, I don't think there's any other Easter eggs I'm allowed to reveal, because we want there to be some allure here, you know?
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Da-na-na, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you get, those 3 notes.
you gotta catch it right then and there.
Exactly. It's quick.
So I know, like talking to you, I mean, there's obviously sounds like this whole thing has been a challenge, but what has been the most challenging part for you, like, making this whole thing?
I think it's because it is such a well-known property. The challenge is the pressure I put on myself, and that's another reason I just want anybody out there listening who's skeptical to just trust us that we really want this not to just be a good Broadway show. We want this to be a good Karate Kid. We all love the story. We all love it so much, but the pressure I put on myself is immense. And that is a challenge. It's caused me to spiral sometimes. Just like, I can't even think. I'll write a line of a song and cross it out, and write another line and cross it out, and nothing's good enough, and nothing's good enough, and nothing's good enough. So just know, anybody who's listening, there's so much pressure on all of our shoulders. But the biggest challenge, to answer your question, is the pressure that I put onto my own.
Are you composing all the music by yourself? Like in terms, like for the songs, is it all?
Oh yeah. All well, it's all the songs, melody, chord progressions, and lyrics are all written by me. And then it becomes that bigger part of that collaboration where another hand comes into the pie. And there is our music director, Andrew Resnick, who does the arrangements, derivative of the songs I've written. He will do the underscoring. And then another couple of very fantastic gentlemen, John Clancy and Justin Goldner, who are doing orchestrations for the piece. And what that means is they're the ones designing what instruments will be played in the orchestra of the show, and it's like 15 instruments. Like it's like a massive band. Then there's Japanese instruments, and there's synths, and there's guitars galore, and there's taiko drums, and it's like it is a big undertaking. And frankly, I don't have the musicality to write a score for all those instruments, and they are geniuses with it. And I trust them, but they've asked questions when questions need asking, and it becomes a very big collaborative conversation. But we're in good hands. I just go, here's a song, and then they're going to be turning it into like a largely woven masterpiece. So it's a four-headed monster in the music team.
So like this is kind of like the Broadway version of they're like kind of music editors where they like they take the score and enhance
great.
it.
That's a perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It's like what a producer does in the studio for an album or something like that. Like they're the ones controlling the knobs and saying,
like a
we're
sound
gonna add
mixer
guitar here. Yeah, they're engineering the whole thing. I'll come in with the song, but it's like me and a piano or me and an acoustic guitar, and then they'll make it epic.
That must be like, what is that like for you? Like hearing your song for the first time with like, you start with a piano and then it's like violin, drums.
I mean, honestly, we haven't even gotten there yet because that doesn't happen till next week in the rehearsal process. So I've only heard it with drums and guitar and bass and piano so far. And even then I was like, wow, like I was like, my mind was like, holy shit, this is so amazing. And then I have to keep reminding myself, oh, there's going to be 11 more instruments. What? Yeah. This is going to be massive. I mean, like I've never had something this big with my songs before. It's what an honor, what a privilege to be working with such great talent too. Seriously.
Yeah. And what can you tease about like the cast itself? Because I think that's also a lot of people are like really like curious, like, who are these people playing these iconic characters? So what can you tease about like the main cast, a person playing Daniel and Johnny and Allie?
Here's what I can say is like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's such a love fest in this rehearsal room, and I'm older than all these, like they're playing high schoolers, these are people in their young 20s and like Ralph Macchio was when he made the movie. He was in his young 20s when he was playing a 17-year-old.
Crazy. And
their voices are spectacular. Like in terms of singing my stuff, I'm blown away by the talent. Our kreese, Alan H. Green, is a powerhouse. Like when he sings, I fly back against the wall. It is insane. Our Johnny is Jake Bentley Young. He is an uber talent. He's also a musical theater writer and a songwriter, and he's just got the perfect, like he's so likable. You can see why Allie liked him, but then he's just such an asshole. He's such a perfect Johnny, and his voice spectacular. John Cardoza is coming in, and he was just in another show on Broadway called Jagged Little Pill, and now he's doing our show. And he's, again, his voice knocks me on my ass. He's got so much heart. And I just love watching him. Our Miyagi, Giovanni Sai, is that was the hardest part to cast, because how many Asian men in their 50s or 60s sing and do martial arts? Like, you know what I mean? Like he moves well. He's a perfect Miyagi. He's just given us everything Miyagi has, and he's so good. And Jetta Durance is like, she's another one that we just rehearsed with her earlier, and there's something about her voice that I want to bottle up, and there's something about her that makes this character that would otherwise frankly be a little bland so likable, and easily one of my favorite characters in the show now. I'm obsessed with Jetta. And Kate Baldwin, who plays Lucille LaRusso, she's two-time Tony nominee. I mean, like, seriously, every time she walks into a room, I go, "Hello, Broadway icon, Kate Baldwin. How are you?" Because she's an icon. Yeah. Ask anybody in theater, and they'll know who Kate Baldwin is, and that's a really cool thing. She's a legend. She'll probably hate that I use the word legend, because she'll probably think it makes her sound old, but she's legendary. She's badass. No, and the dancers. I mean, the ensemble is I've never seen people move like this. There's a guy named Zachary Downey, I think is his last name. God, I might be getting that wrong. No, I think it is Downey. And I grabbed his arms. I was like, are you made of water? Like, how do you, like, they move in such a way? I was like, you must be an octopus, because there's no bones in here. How do you do that? I'm blown away. But our principal cast is out of sight. Out of sight, really. I mean, Jetta and John and all of them, they're amazing.
That's great. So Mr. Miyagi was, would you say, the hardest? Were you involved at all in the casting?
Oh yeah, heavily. Yeah, have to
really?
be. Yeah, me and Robert and the director and the producers.
Okay. So you saw like a bunch of different auditions and stuff?
Thousands
In person?
thousands of tapes, and then like dozens in person.
Wow.
But we had to watch thousands of fucking tapes. I mean, like, holy crap. And like, there were some amazing people, but there was a whole lot of not amazing people. It was like, it was an insane amount of footage to watch.
Oh my God.
And yes, Mr. Miyagi was challenging, very challenging to cast. It's a
Yeah.
very specific role, you know, very specific. And you have to live up to like one of the greatest. Mr. Miyagi is one of the best movie characters ever, of all time, ever. And Pat Morita is one of the greatest pop culture phenomenons ever. So it's hard to find someone who can live up to such an amazing thing that's been created. And Giovanni Sai is, thank God we found him. Like, really, we were like, that's the guy. Like 3 words out of his mouth.
Really?
There he is. Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Did you do any callbacks, or was it just?
Oh yeah. We did callbacks. I mean, we were doing auditions and casting for like almost a year, like half a year, 6 months. I mean, like, it was just a long time. And then we cast some people, and then we do a workshop and a reading, and then we have to kind of keep a handful of them and then kind of recast a few other people. It's just process. And it's tough because you want everybody to be in the show, kind of. You love all these people that you get to work with and get to meet, and it's the business. It's tough, but yeah, the casting was really hard. Really hard.
On top of that, you're doing the music at the same time. It's like a lot of things going on at once.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, you have to be a certain brand of insanity to do this for a living. But this life chose me in a way. So what can I do? I'm this deep in it now. I'm wearing this shirt, for Christ's sake. Let's go.
You should change the theater to Cobra Kai.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Then you should sell this outside of the musical.
Maybe I'll make another channel, Theater
That's
Kid.
Right. You'll be playing a violin on the sidewalk, and you'll have shirts for sale.
Exactly, guys. I've been playing the violin for years now. I'm a professional. Oh my God. Wait. So how long did it take you to write the whole score? The whole score in general?
I mean, honestly, I'm still rewriting as we go. And the truth is, about any Broadway show, not just this one, this is a typical for the process. You're making tweaks and changes to songs up until opening night, literally. So the process of writing never really stops until the show is what they call frozen. But in terms of getting a first draft together, I think it took me, we were working really fast, and Robert and I were on the phone like every day. And I think we wrote the first draft in like 3 months, and then we wrote the second draft in another 6 months, and then we wrote the third, fourth, fifth. It just goes and goes and goes. But I think we got the first like good draft probably in 6 months, and it's only gotten better since then. I mean, like, if I think back to that first good draft, it's kind of a crappy draft compared to what we have now.
Yeah. Of course.
It's a process, man.
Yeah. So I told you my favorite scene. So I'm curious what your favorite scene is from the musical specifically.
From the musical, I have 2 favorite scenes, and they are when Daniel walks into Cobra Kai for the first time and sees that the guys who have been kicking his ass are all the Cobras. And that's when we meet Kreese for the first time. And it is like, it's an entrance that deserves an applause. It is so intimidating and crazy and big. And I like, even talking about it, I'm getting chills up and down my back. It's amazing. So that one for sure. And then the balance scene where Daniel catches Mr. Miyagi doing the crane kick, and he says, "What was that?" And then he goes, if if you can do, no can defeat, or whatever the line is. And he explains balance, and it's the most beautiful. There are several teaching moments. Miyagi has so many of these teaching moments with Daniel, but that one is so beautiful because it ends with Daniel in the iconic pose. It's just so, all your childhood butterflies start fluttering. Actually, okay, and my third favorite, pardon me, my third favorite is probably tied with that one, and it's the first teaching moment with Miyagi when he shows Daniel the bonsai, and he starts trimming the bonsai tree. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great scene. Close eye. Make perfect picture.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all there.
I can't wait to see the scene where this is another great scene. I totally forgot. This is probably top 3 of my favorite scenes when the lessons come together. Show me, wax on.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And that is one of my, I gotta pat myself on the back a little bit.
There you go. Do it. Yeah.
That song, it's a song that's like kind of split up into all these chunks. And it's when he is learning, is like, is it going to teach me anything? I'm just doing fucking chores all day. It's like that whole moment. And then it ends with him just going, Daniel-san, and, show me wax on wax. And then he does it. And then he starts blowing punches at him. And it's just, I mean, we do it on stage. It's amazing. And again, it gets applause. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's probably the most important, one of the most important scenes in the film, because that's the turning point for the whole film.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Because the whole first half of the film is him doing chores.
Yes.
What is this? I thought this was the Karate Kid. Boom.
No, and then we're just like rolling down that hill to the tournament after that. It's like, whoa, action from here on out. It is just go, go, go after that. It's great.
Oh my God. I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for that scene.
Yeah, me too, man.
So let me ask you, if you could play any of the characters in the musical. Yeah. I was going to say.
Like, there's no question. Like, I love his songs, and I just love his character. He's so layered, but the way he presents himself is completely one note. So that to me makes him a super complex character, because he has so much like rooted like Vietnam trauma and shit, and that we kind of see a little bit of in Cobra Kai in this last season, right? Or a couple seasons ago with young Kreese.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And so now that we know all that, and the way he's just kind of like vengeful, he's not like a villain, like twisting his mustache, like, yeah, he's not like that. He's just, he sees the world differently, and he only sees it one way. And it's just, ooh, God. And I just like his songs. I happen to like his songs a lot. They're really fucking dark and crazy.
Did you like study these characters, like in particular, like when you're writing Daniel songs or Johnny or Kreese songs? Did you like kind of like watch the movies, really analyze the performances, like the characters?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I'm not even kidding. Cobra Kai helps, because Cobra Kai is just an extension of Karate Kid. So you get a whole new layer of Johnny, obviously, in Cobra Kai, and you get Kreese is kind of the same guy, but now that we're getting more backstory from Kreese, and you're just seeing like he's not just a psychopath or a sociopath.
Yeah,
he's a traumatized individual who lived a really fucking dark, horrible life for a minute. And Miyagi, like, of course, that moment where he's drunk tells us everything we need to know about Miyagi. So yes, I wrote notes as I watched the movie, and then I started writing songs, and then I watched Cobra Kai, and I was like, oh my God, these songs can be so much grander now. And so I would go back and give a little more life to some of these characters.
Yeah. Have you, I know it's like totally different, but like, I mean, have you ever thought about like scoring Terry Silver from Karate Kid?
I wish. Oh man. Actually,
cool.
Because Kreese to me is like, he walks into like a whole arena. It's like how Marty Cove came out and Dancing with the Stars, and he had the whole audience saying, "Yes, Sensei." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something a little more like conniving. If Kreese is the brute, then I think Terry Silver is kind of the brains a little bit. And like the two of them together, that's what makes them such a good, like, evil partnership. Is because, like, I think Terry Silver is that his name? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, Terry Silver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a little more reserved in terms of like his I'm gonna kick your assness about it. He's just, I think he's always Kreese's too, but Terry's, I think, a little more intellectual.
Yeah.
Same kind of sociopath, but a little more like Hannibal Lecter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah.
The analogy that everyone uses is like Kreese is like Darth Vader and Silver's like the
Yes.
Emperor.
Perfectly
It's
put.
like-
That's
yeah.
exactly right. Like he can play with Kreese's mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
Kreese is so powerful over all these people, who can get into that guy's head? This
Yeah.
dude can, right? So that's exactly right. That's a perfect analogy.
Well, what's funny is when you watch Karate Kid, Johnny's Darth Vader and Kreese is the Emperor.
Exactly.
You think that Kreese is the big bad, but no,
There's
Silver's
always a bigger boss. I wonder who
Yeah.
Silver's like emperor is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's gotta be one. We haven't met him yet, maybe.
there's gotta be someone. But like I could because like are you familiar with the Bill Conti Terry Silver theme? From
Yeah,
Karate Kid
I
Part
think
3?
so. I think so. Yeah. I don't know if I could like sing it right now, but I'm sure I've heard it because I've seen the movie. Yes.
Yeah, so like that's one of my favorite themes. Like Bill Conti just kills that one. Like I would just and Terry's one of my favorite characters, and he's so
Same.
maniacal. Like yeah,
Yeah.
like he's just rich businessman. I wish he was like in Karate Kid 1 so you could
There's something about him that reminds me of Elon Musk.
gonna buy Twitter.
I know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just nuts like that. I just think that's who he kind of reminds me of.
Oh my god, yeah. So the Karate Kid deals with like so many lessons, so many different themes. You got father and sons, overcoming bullying, like finding your place in the world. So I'm curious, like out of all those themes and maybe any other themes, like which lesson or theme stands out most to you from Karate Kid?
It's cliche at this point because we've kind of said it even in jest during this interview, but finding balance is, it's not just about being able to stand like this and kick. It really is something that I have put into a meditation on the daily now ever since starting this show, because I was all over the place. Like I'm so hungry for trying to make it in this business, and I'm working 1,000 different shows at once, and my brain's a little scattered, and finding balance. There's a way to do all of it, but there's a way to do it where I could still come back to myself. It was easy in my 20s to lose myself trying to find success or trying to find the right relationship or whatever it is. And now, I mean, like, honestly, I wear the bracelet because it's a good reminder of just like, don't forget, Drew. Like, at the end of the day, this is what you come back to. It's just the thing that you have, and that's your body, that's your brain, that's your patience, that's your creativity. All of that is like contained right here. Don't let it go. Don't let it explode out of you. Keep it right here. That is a big thing. And I'm kind of interpreting it the way I hear it when I hear Miyagi's teachings in that moment. But finding balance is a big one. Also, yeah, like fuck bullies. Like, don't be a bully. That's a big one too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Both of that. Yeah, like with the balance thing, like even when he does that, it's like, it's like you have to really like understand it. Like you have to, like when you're going through it, it's a very simple lesson. Like balance is not just for karate, it's for your whole life, but it really has so much meaning.
Yes.
And I feel like every time I watch the Karate Kid, it kind of means more and more, because also it's like watching it, maybe I'm going through something. Like I was watching it one night. I think I put it on TV and like that scene came on. It was just that scene came on, and it was right when I was going through something. And I've seen this scene millions of times. I knew what it was, but I just needed to hear it. And just hearing that, it's like you always, like, sometimes you're gonna be here, sometimes you're gonna be here, but you'll always life will balance itself out.
Yes,
All that.
absolutely. And some, it can be the easiest thing to lose sight of, and it can be the hardest thing to like achieve. But when you get that reminder, you've seen that scene a million times, and you still need to get the reminder from time to time. It's important that we all take a minute to just listen to nature, listen to it's like things are out of our control anyway. All that matters is what we can control. And I think that's part of what finding balance is all about. But again, fuck bullies, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I hope you do like I hope you write a book or something, because I'm not kidding, because I really can't get over that Okinawa story, because that's like a real life Karate Kid thing for you. Like, it was real. Like,
Yeah.
you went on that trip one way, you came
Yep.
back another way, and even now throughout this musical, it's like I'm sure there's so many times where your balance is thrown off because you
Oh
have to
yeah.
do 1,000 things at once. You can't. There's no way to balance. But then ultimately, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
like
no, you are right. I'll tell you something. In the next 10 years, if I write a book, you better learn fucking violin. That's all I'm saying. We got a deal?
you, you write the book, I'll learn the violin.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll come
see.
back here, we'll reconvene.
How good do I have to be though?
I mean, as good as my book has to be. How about that?
I have to play Ode to Joy or something.
Sure. I'll have at least 4 chapters.
Oh man, that'll be like our challenge. It's like,
Yeah.
like, Drew, I'm on chapter 2. Like, how's the violin coming?
Chapter 1, how to find balance. Chapter 2, I literally just lost my balance.
Chapter 3, I think I'm starting to get it back, but I'm not sure.
Exactly.
So you're obviously not a fan of bowling. Who is? So, have you had any experience growing up with bowling?
I've had more experience as an adult with bullying than I did when I was a kid. And I think I don't know what it was. I had like unrelenting confidence when I was younger, and I didn't bully. That's not at all what I did. I wasn't like so confident that I would make others feel small or anything like that. I was hopping from friend to friend, and I knew everybody in school, and I felt very confident with who I was, and I was funny, and I could play music, and it was, it wasn't. I had hair back then. Now I'm all the way bald. It's lovely, but now as an adult, when you are trying for something for such a long time, and if anybody reminds you, like, you're fucking crazy for still doing this because you haven't made it yet, kid. And you're like, I'm 30. Why are you calling me kid? It's like, that's when I start feeling like, ow. And words mean a little more to me now than they did when I was younger. And I know that's usually the opposite way for most people. They feel very, what's the word I'm looking for? Heavily influenced by things that are told to them when they're younger. But I was very absorbent in a way that I didn't let it, affect me in a negative way. I just kind of learned from it immediately and then trudged through. But now as an adult, I really take offense to when people put me down a lot, and it just seems unnecessary. Hate is not even the thing that bothers me. It's just unnecessary. I'm going to tell you something about you that's going to put you down. That's not hate. That's just mean. I don't have the patience for mean, you know?
Yeah. Was that like on Twitter? Was it a lot of
Sure.
that?
I mean, like, it's inescapable on Twitter, but like just people in the business, just people I met in the business who shall remain nameless for all the reasons why I wouldn't name them. But like, it's, there's unnecessary cruelty and emotional abuse. And, uh, you know, when you're an adult, you're more mature, but you also don't have all this time leading up to being an adult to figure out how to navigate that. So as an adult, it's like weird now. And it just like, it can put me down for a couple weeks where I'm just like so unmotivated because I just think I'm such a sack of shit or whatever. And it's, again, that's part of finding balance. It's like my most authentic self can easily reject that type of negativity. And so finding my most authentic self is part of the goal here, just as a person and as a human. Wow, we're getting deep here, Drew.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I'm sure there's someone out there that, you know, listening to this who's going through something. So like that's why I try and like, you know, I try and like spread the best messages that I can, because I go through crap too. You know, people, it's so funny because people could look at me and my channel and I'm always enthusiastic. I'm always smiling.
Right.
And I am enthusiastic. I am. But then, you know, when the camera's off, like I go through stuff like, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
people in the comments, I've my things in my personal life. And, you know, it's all about like how you respond to it. And like at first I wanted to quit the channel because people were like commenting such nasty stuff, but
Yeah.
but ultimately,
I can imagine. Oh my God. Yeah. Especially as your
yeah,
follower and your fan base has grown and grown and grown. I'm sure of it. Yeah.
yeah, there was a period where it was growing really big, and you would think, oh wow, like that's a great thing. But the bigger it was growing in that short span, it was like that's when the hate came, and I
Yeah,
wasn't
of
even
course.
aware of it. It was just, it was like a, and you know, it took me a while, but now I've kind of like the online stuff, I try and disregard as much as I can. It's a lot harder when someone's telling you in person, and
Yes.
I've had that, like, because then
Yes.
it's a direct thing
That's
to
right.
you.
That's the stuff that really affects me. I mean, like you could,
Yeah, of
and anybody
course.
who's saying it to you online, it's like, look what you're doing and look what they're probably doing. You've got thousands of people watching your stuff and interacting with you. You must be doing something right. You know what I mean? And if they feel like their comment on this channel or wherever else they want to post it is like, if that gets one like because someone agrees with their shitty little comment, that's their whole week. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
yes, they did it. How pathetic is that for a life? But it's when someone is like telling you to your face that compassion is a weakness, your enthusiasm is annoying. What? I'm
yeah.
not going to stop doing that, but that certainly stings, you know? So, Drew, from Drew to Drew, fuck the haters.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, part of this channel is like me being enthusiastic about Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, and I get a lot of comments like why are you're over exaggerating? It's just a show. But then, you know, the people that do support me, they love that because they're just as enthusiastic,
Yeah,
and that
dude.
it's for them. It's for them. Like
That's your community. That's your
yeah,
people, you know? Not everybody's going to like us, you know?
yeah.
So the people that find you, that's good. Let them come. Those are your people. Let them be enthusiastic. I think that's great.
Yeah. And the musical, the same thing with the musical. The musical is for people who want to see the musical. It's not for the people who don't want to see it. If you
Yeah,
don't want to see it, then
if you don't like the idea of it and you really don't want to see it for yourself, then don't see it. But like I would say, like even keep an open mind. Like
give it a
what a
try. Yeah.
waste of your energy to just hate something before you know what it is. Like that's insane to me. Like fuck this, I'm not gonna go see this. You don't even know what it is yet. You're hating something before you know what it is. It's so silly.
It does it fuel you? Does it give you motivation? Like,
I mean, no, I don't need the fuel because I already feel so strong in what we have. Like
yeah.
again, we have the Robert Kamen stamp here.
Yeah.
Like if that doesn't say enough
Oh my
about what
God.
we're
Come
doing
on.
with
Yeah.
Karate Kid, then go on your merry way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll feel like once it comes out, people will see it. Like, I'm sure it'll feel like, even though like all that, like, you know, everyone's saying their stuff is like obviously terrible, I'm sure it'll feel even better like once it comes out and it like blows up.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? I'll have a silent little victory doing this to all the haters after
yeah,
that. But you know, other than that, that's for me. That's let's yum 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 yum, just for me. You know.
yeah, yeah. Um, do you have any advice to anybody out there, maybe someone who's listening, who's going through bullying?
Yeah. I think some advice would be just when you don't feel understood, don't stop looking for someone to understand you because somebody out there will understand you. And when you're bullied and you go to somebody and you say, this is what's happening to me, and I feel like I'm being attacked this way emotionally, not even physically, like even emotionally or mentally, that can really fuck somebody up. And that's when you start to feel really isolated. And that's when you start to feel alone. And that's when really dark thoughts happen. So for anybody who's going through something like that, don't lose hope in terms of finding somebody who understands you. I've been there many times myself, and I've always been able to find somebody to lend an ear to me and just allow me to feel heard and understood. And honestly, like, I get messages on Instagram all the time from people saying, like, I go to school where I am a certain type of person, if I'm trans or I'm gay or something like that, and they are not understood by their family, or they're not understood by their friend group at the moment. They don't feel like they have a place. And they say something to me like, but this song you wrote makes me feel like there's someone listening. I'm never going to be the guy. I don't care how many followers I end up getting down the line. Like, I'm never going to be the guy to read something like that and ignore it, because that person needs to know from somebody who can empathize with the feeling of being a little lost or a little misunderstood, that, hey, thanks for acknowledging the song, but more importantly, I acknowledge you. What's up? Thank you so much for reaching out, and best of luck to you. Like, I just feel like interaction is so important these days. So stay with it. Stay hopeful. That's my advice.
Yeah. And that comment, like, you know, you doing that, that's awesome. That speaks a lot about you. And like, you know, for you, like, to do that, like, that could make someone so happy, especially that person. Like, it's like the world to them. Like,
Yeah.
for you to respond, that's awesome.
I understand the significance of something like that. Again, I've been there myself, so I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People like celebrities who like reach out and like,
Yeah.
you know, are interactive with the fans and kind. It's like, it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It just does something. So that's good advice. Good Miyagi advice.
Ah, thanks.
So I think I also know the answer to this question, but I'll still ask anyway. If you were to join a dojo, Cobra Kai, Eagle Fang, or Miyagi-Do?
I gotta be honest, like, I feel like you might think Cobra Kai just because I'm all about Kreese right now, but like in the world that's not in the musical, I think Eagle Fang is kind of the most fun. I think, you know, like, Miyagi-Do would be amazing, but I don't think I have the patience. You know what I mean? For those types of exercises, I think it would be a lot more. I want to be in the party bus, and I think that Eagle Fang is kind of the party bus. That's the land of misfit toys. I want to party with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go wherever Johnny goes.
Yeah, man. Johnny's too good. He's too good. I love him in that show.
Yeah. So what has been the biggest lesson and takeaway for you, like, from doing this whole thing?
Working on this musical?
Yeah.
God, there's a lot. Let me just try to find one. I've always been a fan of collaboration. I thrive on collaboration. And I think that this has been just a big lesson in terms of because of how big this is. There's more people involved. There's the book writer from the original movies involved. There's a preciousness to this that we don't want to shatter. And so I think I've learned that collaboration is not just everybody dive in and create. It's this thing that you have to really, like a brand new ceramic that just came off the kiln. Like, you got to be really delicate with it so that when you show it to people, it's glazed and perfect and this, that, and the other. So I think be delicate with a collaboration is something I have taken away from this experience.
It's awesome. Okay. So other than the Karate Kid musical, do you have any other projects that you're working on at the moment?
Several, yes. Oh my goodness. So we mentioned We Aren't Kids Anymore, which is my autobiographical song cycle, which is schools and colleges and theater companies, you can license that right now. That's available for anybody who wants to put it on themselves. And I've seen some high school productions of it. It's really amazing to see that people are doing it. I'm writing a sequel to that, which is kind of it's self-reflecting without a skinny mirror. So it's just a little deeper, a little further involved into my own experience, but I'm writing it just like I did with We Aren't Kids Anymore in a way that can feel universal to everybody else's experience. And that's called We Aren't Dreaming Anymore. I'm writing that. Alex Brightman, my friend who plays Beetlejuice, he's also not just my best friend, he's my writing partner, and we are writing an adaptation of the novel It's Kind of a Funny Story, which is a comedy about depression, and it is about a kid named Craig Gilner who attempts suicide, and then instead of following through with it, he commits himself to a psych ward at a hospital. And it's a little bit like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest meets The Wizard of Oz. It's really fun and heavy and light at the same time. Balance. And that's the project I'm easily the most excited about. There's an animated movie in the works that I can't say too much about, but we just began talking about that. And a podcast series based on another musical I wrote about serial killers called Make Me Bad. We're in the middle of getting those contracts finalized, and we'll be making that soon. And yeah, just playing concerts here and there, teaching master classes here and there, and like I need more shit on my plate. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, like, we're talking about balance, and like you have all this stuff.
I know,
like,
that's what I'm talking about. That's why I've got to keep reminding myself.
but you sound like you got it right. It sounds like you're.
Well, I've
managing
been doing it for a long time. I call it spinning plates. You know, when you see people with the sticks and they're spinning a plate on each one, and you got to keep one of them going, and you just want to make sure they're all spinning. So it's a bit like that. It's a juggling act for sure.
Yeah, but the Karate Kid musical, like at the moment, is
that has all my attention right now. Yeah, my eye is on that ball in a very hard way. But the minute we open, I jump right into a reading of It's Kind of a Funny Story. And also this new musical I forgot to mention called Calling All Kates. It's a romantic comedy. I'm starting that in July, so I'm excited about that one too.
Cool. So when the musical like starts, like when shows start and you guys are performing like every day, every other day, what is your role become then? Like,
I don't need to be there. I mean, like, honestly, once the show's up on its feet, I mean, it's going to be touring. I'm not going to go with the show. It's just going to be out there doing its thing. And it's how I get paid. I'll get like a royalty and stuff. And I wrote the show. It's like having a patent on something kind of. So everybody's using my patent. So I get the royalties from that is basically what it turns into. Sorry, let me just ignore this call real quick.
No worries.
And yeah, so once a show is open, it's frozen and I am starting on the next show, whatever that might be. But then it's in the cast's hands, basically.
So are there any rehearsals during the show?
Yeah, once a show is up and running, they'll do brush up rehearsals every now and again. And if like an understudy has to go on, they do put in rehearsals so that the understudy can practice doing the role. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, it really is an amazing thing to watch. Theater is so many moving pieces, and theater knows how it works better than anything. It's amazing. It's a monster. It's a beast. And it functions the way it functions. It's out of my control, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Balance.
It all goes back to that. Always.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up this interview, we have a surprise for you guys. So Drew's going to perform an original song, right?
Yeah.
Called We Aren't Kids Anymore.
Sure.
So is it before you play it for us? Do you want to just tell everyone like what it's about? And
sure. I mean, I think the meaning of this song has changed. So I leave it up to the listener's interpretation a little bit, but this is basically just a big theme of growing up, no matter what age you are. When you start to realize you're growing up, you realize how difficult it is. And you go to school your whole life, but no one teaches you how to be a grown-up, and your independence is a frightening thing. And for some people it's easier than others, and that's kind of what this is. It's just about how I feel when I realize, oh my God, I'm growing up. Even as an adult, I have this realization, oh shit, I'm growing up. Every year at tax season, I'm like, fuck, I'm growing up. The government's taking my money. I must be growing up. I'm going to do just a shorter version of it. It's a longer song, so I'll just do like a truncated version if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. I love this song.
This is for your request, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
I'm
appreciate
so thrilled
it.
you listened to it, and I'm happy you like it. So Drew, this one's for you. Ever try to remember being a kid?
There's a lot that I liked about being a kid. Opinions are facts. No stress about taxes or death. I could play every day without breaking a sweat. Like a way of escaping what I didn't get. Escaping meant running away and playing pretend. Avoiding the day where it all has to end. No matter how fast or slow, everybody has to grow up. And just like that, I am lost, trying to figure out just where to go. What can you do when you're tossed in the middle of this so-called normal with the little you know? Just keep holding on, and everything is different than before. Forced in understanding, we aren't kids anymore. If we sit in the place in our head for too long, the previous version of you for too long, when you didn't mind when days felt a little too long, or feeling insane for a little too long, just take a glance, 'cause I believe if you stay here long enough, you'll never wanna leave. Why would you ever leave? Go ahead, think on back to when you were a kid. Memorize every line from each scene that you're in. Recite them whenever you're scared. When life seems in flux, we're never prepared for how much growing up sucks. No matter the cross we toe, everybody has to grow up. And just like that, I am lost, trying to figure out just what went wrong. What can you do when you're tossed in the middle of this so-called normal where you never belonged? Just keep holding on. Every day is the same, just as before. Forced into understanding, we aren't kids anymore. Forced into understanding, we aren't kids anymore.
Dude, oh my God. That was amazing.
Thanks, Drew.
Incredible. After a whole interview, live performance, like killed it.
That's showbiz, kids.
Killed it live. That was live, everybody. Live after a 2.5-hour interview. That's not easy. So I didn't edit that one bit. So amazing. That was great. I love that song. It's like
Thank
just
you.
like it's like, yeah, like I as I told you before, like I was a huge High School Musical fan. I still am. So like,
Yeah.
it gives me like that like kind of vibe, especially like, yeah, we're not kids anymore. It's like
Totally.
relatable.
Totally. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you like it, and it was a pleasure to play it for you.
Of course. And you still have a ton of more songs that I will listen to.
Yeah, like hundreds. And like if on Spotify there's like a couple albums, but go on YouTube, because I do these shows in New York, and every single show has a different set list, like unheard songs. So like there's literally hundreds and hundreds of my songs live on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw you have like a bunch of YouTube videos. So
Yeah. So if you like that, go check those out, kids.
yeah, definitely. Are you going to be performing in New York anytime soon?
Yeah, actually on July 25th, I'll be at 54 Below, which is where I play. And actually, it's the goodbye show. This is gonna be the last one for a long, long time. They take a long time to put together, and my schedule, as you just heard, is spreading me quite thin. So July 25th, 54 Below, I believe tickets are on sale. And Jetta, who plays Allie in The Karate Kid, will be joining me on stage for that, as well as a bunch of other Broadway cameos. So it'll be a lot of fun. They're always a lot of fun. So come check it out.
Yeah, I definitely will check that out if I'm around at that time.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
That.
Let me know. I'll get you a ticket.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me for this interview.
I was looking forward to it all week, man. For real. I love your enthusiasm, and I love your dedication to the Miyagi verse and Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid, and your excitement for us and kind of being a champion for us to succeed. I really appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Thank you. And yeah, like I obviously love music. I love Karate Kid, but my knowledge on musicals, what goes into it, wasn't there. I really didn't know much about it. So like this like taught me a whole lot. I have a really big appreciation of what you do. It's not easy.
No, sir.
You're like, no, it's not at all.
No, I'm reminded daily how hard it is.
But you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
It. Thank you, Drew.
So thank you to everyone for watching. And if you guys still want to donate to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, you can by clicking the donate button down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting. Drew, where can people find you? Like YouTube, Instagram?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. Drew Gasparini 123 is my channel on YouTube. And on Instagram, you can find me, Drew Gasparini. I think I'm on TikTok too. I don't know what's there though. Go check it out. It's all Drew Gasparini.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out the Karate Kid musical premiering on May 25th in St. Louis. You can go get your tickets now by clicking the link in the description below. We'll see you next time on Cobra Kai Kid. And until then, remember,
Cobra Kai never die.